it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and
Dave?
they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special Saturday edition of #DMW Flute. I am your host, Phil S. Marks, and on today's show, the 28th edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment, Darby Allin is the GOAT. Okay, according to Dave, he's had one of the greatest, greatest, star-studded, highest star ranking match title run in the history of world champions, right? AEW is totally fine. You got to trust Dave on that. It's totally fine. Nothing to see here. And WWE wins don't matter in the John Cena Classic. And we're pulling a little time cop here this week because things were out of whack. Niccolo Piccolo jumped on PWT live show and we did an impromptu interview. And then the next day I decided, hey, instead of DMW, I'm going to get to the bits and skits and all of the little news tidbits that I didn't get to. And now DMW lands early on this Saturday because I want to watch this Netflix MMA fight card featuring Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, and I want to do so. I just want to absorb it. I want to fucking sit down, watch it. It's a first. It could be potentially the biggest mixed martial arts card in the history of the sport, eyeballs-wise, being on Netflix, so I'm very compelled to do that. And it's snowing again out of nowhere. It turned into pretty much summertime, and then up here in Canada, it started snowing and shit. So we are on a wonky one, but I appreciate those of you who are here, and I appreciate those of you who came with your flutes polished, and people like Biff, who's been a member for 13 months. Guys, you can become a member for only 99 cents. And I do bonus shows weekly on the YouTube channel, or become a Patreon, patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. You can super chat in or just hit like, heart, retweet, all of that good stuff.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I appreciate you all, everybody. Let's get our flutes, our big, giant, shiny flutes in the chat, because it is time for everybody's favorite segment turn to show, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
So Dave Meltzer, man, he has been doling some star ratings out. Yoshiki Inamura, who was the champion, versus Shane Haste for the GHC Heavyweight Championship at Noah Spring Mayhem Ryogoku, got 4.5 stars. Shane Haste is your new champion. He, of course, was in TM61 or TMDK, depending what fed you're in. I think he was like Shane Thorne or something like that. And he was in that tag team for a little bit there in WWE, but he's mostly known for his time in Japan. And I think mostly his time in Japan, not even so much the indie scene. But yeah, he had a match with Inamura, who everybody loves, and he won the title, and Dave graded it rather high. Now, I will be honest, I saw the finish of this match. I didn't see the whole match, but we talked about the finish on PWT Live Show and how Haste became the champ. And maybe I'll check it out because Dave fucking rated it so maybe. I don't fucking know. But yeah, he was glazing that one. I haven't seen it, so I can't be the judge, but something I have seen and something I can be the judge of is Dave Meltzer's Unbridled Glaze for AEW. And he has been rating Darby Allin's world championship reign as one of the greatest championship reigns in the history of professional wrestling, just as a whole. Okay. And you can see here Darby Allin's AEW world championship reign rated so far by the Observer. So his match against Tommaso Ciampa, 5 stars. Okay. Brody King, 4.5 stars. His match with Kevin Knight, Darby versus Kevin Knight, that's 4.5 god damn stars. Ready for the other one? Versus Pac, 4 3/4 stars for that Fairway to Hell match, where they were jumping in and out of the fucking rough and all of that. And then his match with Takeshita on this past Dynamite, a 5-star match. Darby has 2 5-star matches. He probably has more than that overall. Like, I'm sure he's been a part of some shit that Dave rated super high that I'm just not remembering off the top of my head. However, I just find this completely and utterly ridiculous that the Ciampa match, 5 stars. Okay, it was like a good TV match, but was it? I just don't even really remember it, because all I remember is like him flying into the sand, and then the Takeshita match was recently. I don't fucking know, man. And then Kevin Knight just like goes to the limit with everyone, so it's all starting to kind of bleed together. Even Kevin Knight's matches, you know, I thought his match with Brian Cage was really good. So that one doesn't rate, but this one does. I don't fucking know, man. It is what it is. Dave loves Darby, and this is one of the greatest championship runs of all time. And notice this happens in Dave's mind. All of a sudden, Darby's getting 5-star match, 5-star match, 5-star match. Even though he's like, I don't think Darby's the right guy to use right now as champion, but then he's got to shill Glaze it anyways, right? And they're losing fucking ratings. They've done like their lowest ratings since January, this last Dynamite. They're falling back below 600,000 for Dynamite. And they spoiled the ending to the Darby MJF match by selling MJF bald head t-shirts already before the event. So you know he's not getting his head shaved. Like, it's been obvious this whole time. It's just what I said when Darby won the title. They're just going to give it back to MJF, and then he's going to take it in all in. They were never not going to do that. So, and they're in New York and shit. So you know how Tone does with people in their hometowns, home states, whatever. So yeah, according to Dave Meltzer, this is like the greatest world title run in just 5 short matches. And then obviously he's going to give the MJF match like 6 stars, Brian. I mean, the way he kicked out of the tombstone off the middle row. So it's just pretty crazy. You know the best guy's Tony Khan, though. And
best guy's Tony Khan.
Dave's just lost. Like, I don't think he knows what constitutes good wrestling unless he's just willing to cop to the fact that he rates it off of like guys doing moves and shoot hurting themselves and each other. So speaking of hurting themselves, man, Dave just keeps fucking up and making himself look stupid, and he just covers things so favorably one way for AEW and not the other. So again, WrestleMania 42 goes down. Oh my God, fucking it's the worst ticket sales, and it's so shitty, and the crowd looks stupid.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
The people in Vegas stink and suck. Dave was saying all this shit. The ticket sales are down. The peak is over. The peak is over. And then now it's like WWE SmackDown tickets sold tonight reportedly below year-to-date average, which isn't really a big deal. Like, he's just doing it. That's just like a fine headline, whatever. It is. more than likely, right? And it's funny because Dave had that whole cope sesh. We covered it last week where he's like, oh, South Carolina, it's not that good for AEW or whatever the fuck. And then didn't WWE just pull up there and they didn't do their best attendances as of recent years, but they still did tremendously well. And they were going crazy for Trick on SmackDown. But Meltzer said what? Just posted this. AEW announced that bracketing for the Owen Hart tournaments on 5/13, where the winners headline Wembley Stadium, getting men's and women's world title shots on 8/30. Wait a minute. Hold on. No. Is this what Tone's doing? Am I not paying attention to the show enough? The men's bracket has Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe at Double or Nothing. Yeah. Okay, so Ospreay is going to win that. And the story's going to be that Moxley trained him to be ruthless to win the title from MJF, who lost it to Darby's bitch in a squash in fucking Washington. Man, this company, bro. This company sometimes, man, I just... All right. Just trying to rack my brain, Brian. It's just so like, oh man, is this Tone just can't do anything new, original, fresh, good. And then his main guys just get booked to shit. Like Will Ospreay seems like more of a jobber than like Kevin Knight does right now. They're booking Kevin Knight better than fucking Will Ospreay. And they're not even booking Kevin Knight right because they gave him that fucking belt and he's just in the mix for the world title. It's like, man, get your shit in order. Like, get some of these divisions in order. Belt just doesn't like make you Super Saiyan 1 or whatever, you fuck. God damn it. Anyways, so, okay, Wembley's at 24,000. Like, that's brutal. So it will be considerably less than the first two shows. 24,000? Why go to Wembley? You might as well just stay in the States. Well, no, I guess they wouldn't do 24,000 here, even though Double or Nothing is doing an amazing gate. They're saying the second largest U.S. gate in history for AEW. And yeah, they're drawing, it's like 15,000 people. They sold the building out. It's not quite 15,000, but we'll just round up. We round up and down here at PWT. And it's going to be like 15,000 and good for them. I mean, that's on the back of MJF. And remember when MJF was champ and they were doing, the shows were formatted a little better and they were a little more compelling. And Dave was sitting there like, oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Just because there's like a few challengers lined up for the champion, and now it's just like, okay, Kevin Knight's in the mix and nobody really wants Darby to be champion, and he's just having open challenges against fucking people because they don't have anything. The story's just, we're going to give it to Darby quickly because we're going to give it to Ospreay. You know what I'm saying? Like, after add all in, but MJF needs to be the one against us. Like, that's all this is. That's all this has been the whole time. He's done this before. He did this with Hangman, where he's just like, oh, I need to like give it to Hangman for a second and then just kind of get it off him. Like, we just need Hangman to beat Mox and then just like, we're going to take the belt off him and give it, Tone always does this. He's done this multiple times. So who else? Ciampa with the TNT. Comes in just like, okay, we'll give it to you for like a minute and then you're just going to lose this shit or whatever. He's flopped it around a bunch of times. So anyways, and not just the world title. He flops titles around. He's done it with the trios belts. He just did it with the dogs, right? They win it and then they just like give it to someone else quickly. And there's never like anything meaningful that comes from it, or there's never a meaningful reason why that happens. It's just a booking trope of Tone that stinks. So anyways, I expect Ospreay to win this shit, but just the ticket sales, right? Like, it's not doom and gloom. The peak is over. AEW's dead. Nothing like that. Just here we go. 24K, and that's what it is. It'll just be considerably less. But meanwhile, when it was WWE, it's fucking the whole world shutting down and WWE's finished and the peak is over, Brian. It'll never be the same again. It's done. Wrestling Chico for 5 says, from calling him a crash test dummy to saying now he's one of the greatest, he's on the greatest world title run. Uncle Dave is a two-faced D-bag. P-Dub-T for life, Chico. Yeah, dude. I mean,
oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
You're absolutely right. He called him a crash test dummy. He even said that, and thank you for the super chat. He even said that Darby wasn't the guy. And now both things can be true. Like your opinion can be Darby's not the guy, but he's also having these stellar, incredible, amazing matches. But I know Dave almost doesn't believe that shit. Because here's the thing, and maybe I should Google this. So we'll just fact check like live on the air. But we have like Bryan Alvarez even saying, which we're about to get into. He's saying shit like this Darby run is going to be generational. Like this title run will be a generational run and shit like that. So I just want to look up how many, or give me a list of every 1 5-star rated Darby Allin match, because I'm sure he was in like a stadium, whatever the fuck, that got 5 stars or something, right? 3 of them. Oh yeah, so this is what it was: the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston versus the Elite Blood and Guts. Was he in that, or is AI just fucking up? But either way, like he's getting 4.75, 2 5 stars with Ciampa and Konosuke, and they're like, it's a generational run. Meanwhile, it's like, dude, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So, speaking of Darby Allin's run here, you know, and I'm reading over on this other tab that Darby Allin versus Ciampa got a 5-star match, and then Darby Allin versus Konosuke Takeshita got a 5-star match, both on Dynamite. And it's funny because Dave will try to diminish Hulk Hogan and be like, oh, well, Jim Londos drew more than him and all of this shit, right? And then that's where drawing matters. And they're saying this is a generational run based on what? And we're going to hear Bryan Alvarez putting this narrative over too. They're desperately trying as hard as they can. And we're going to talk about in a bit how Tony Khan used Dave Meltzer talking about this Niccolo Piccolo thing to respond to the fucking whole thing that Niccolo Piccolo put out there. Okay? Whether you like the guy or hate the guy, he said some shit. Dave Meltzer had to talk about it first before Tone could possibly address it. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but just notice the sweeping, the shilling. Hey, we'll put Darby in there with Konosuke Takeshita and he'll have a 5-star match. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Are you sure about that?
And to me, this is them just pushing this narrative and this initiative of like, we need to try and desperately say that this is good as best as we can, even though Dave admitted that it was going to be a fuck up. And it's a fuck up in the way that matters right now for them. The TV ratings and the attendances. Okay. Darby having physical banger matches doesn't matter. And Bryan Alvarez goes, this Darby title reign, it's going to be talked about for generations. No, it's not. Okay. Do you know what title reign gets talked about for generations and will be? Roman Reigns's, Hulk Hogan's, okay? CM Punk's. Still to this day, they chanted his name for a fucking decade. Almost a decade that he was out of the business. And that will be remembered. Darby's, unfortunately, will not, other than to you and the Observer readers, and those are dwindling. Okay? And I say that not to diminish any of these people, but being world champion, you thank them for the house. Like they're supposed to be the person drawing the fucking house or the people drawing the houses. Darby's not doing that. And you can sit there and go, oh, well, what about Double or Nothing? No, that's because of MJF. Because MJF's from New York, and he's going to win the title back. And people are going to tune in to see Darby do some crazy shit and have MJF win the title back. MJF was why the ratings were better and the attendances were doing better for a minute as champion. You had Kenny Omega, Andrade. You had people circling, right? Fletcher was kind of on a come up. He gets hurt doing stupid shit. And you have Samoa Joe comes back. And instead of focusing on that, Kenny Omega's just in a 10-man who gives a shit match. And Konosuke Takeshita's getting beat. And Samoa Joe's not involved in any of this shit. And Hangman Page just decided to disappear. And Swerve's on Ring of Honor fighting Bandito at Supercard of Honor. He showed up in Ring of Honor, and I'm not joking. And just so Darby can do open challenges with Kevin Knight, and MJF is just there kind of just talking shit every week while Kevin Knight and Darby Allin have match. It's terrible, okay? It's fucking terrible. These last few episodes I thought have stunk. You have a couple good matches, okay? You always have good matches. Everybody can wrestle. We get that. And saying this is a generational run, what did he draw? What did he draw? He did 14K. That's pretty good for like a B promotion, you know? But Raws do that. So what did he do that's so generational?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So he had matches where they did crazy ass moves and he was very physical, and it will just be remembered forever because you guys are just saying
the
that,
young superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So,
or is Roman's run generational? And we remember so many things. Like I remember shit from like the COVID era. I was just thinking about this today. The COVID era where like Danielson tapped Roman, but like Edge attacked him and shit. Y'all remember that? Like, this is what I'm talking about. That was some shit that like Bruno Sammartino drew and reigned with the title forever. Hulk Hogan slammed Andre and ran with the title forever. Right? You remember these things. People won't remember all of his matches are interchangeable. Right? You won't remember he had this belt or another belt, or maybe you'll remember when he teamed with Sting more than this. But yeah, anyways, let's hear Bryan Alvarez just trying his hardest. And like, no knock on Konosuke, but like when Darby beat Takeshita, I was just like, bro, I might we might have to tap out of this shit. I don't know if I can keep doing this, like. And obviously, like, what was Takeshita going to win the world title? No, but it's like, why even put him in that match? Like he was building him so good. What does that do for any of them? It doesn't do anything for Darby, and it didn't. It just hurt Takeshita. I'm sorry.
And this Darby reign is going to be talked about for generations. I mean, it is awesome. I actually don't want him to win at this point at Double or Nothing. I want this to be exactly what he said it's going to be, which is a freaking shooting star. 15 minutes of absolute calamity from Everett through Double or Nothing, and then it's over. It's better to die young than fade.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's already, like, Brian, is your tongue reaching the taint with how deep that is in your throat and how wet these balls are right now? Like, what are you talking about? He did crazier shit with Sting. He had a way more shooting star moment, lightning in a bottle moment, like before any of this. That was way more memorable. I'm sorry. It was way more memorable than what he's doing now. He's actually being relatively tame, and then squashing MJF. I don't know. It just wasn't the move. This feels very hot potato-ish, and they're not looking at the overall picture. They're not looking at, is he drawing every night? Or is it just he's going to go out there and have a bunch of crazy matches? Okay, you can do that without him interrupting whatever success MJF was helping AEW have, if there was any. Because now we're talking about, oh, Nielsen's fucking with the ratings and it's increasing the ratings for AEW, right? And then the ratings are coming in below 600K. So it's like, all right, Dave, let's go by what everybody's saying, or, Nielsen's fucking up and ratings are inflated for wrestling then. So it's even like lower than that before. It would have been lower. You know what I mean? And then you see the Observer write an article like, oh, they had their best rating since whatever. And then Raj Giri's like, well, this is their worst rating since January, even with the new thing or whatever. So I don't know, man. Like, again, I think all the ratings and all that shit's stupid. What's palatable is them struggling to sell 2K tickets in South Carolina or whatever the fuck, and then Trick Willie shows up and blows the roof off the motherfucker. Like, that's what's a generational run. Oh, well, in all Japan, they had these crazy physical. In the 80s, they were drawing. They were drawing, though, too. They had these crazy matches. They're fucking drawing. Onita did all this garbage shit, and you like him, Phil? Yeah, he was drawing, right? So he fucking was drawing, and you guys were bragging about how cheap the tickets are, or Dave, well, the AEW wrestlers are, and then Dave is just touting the successes. And again, I'm not here to be like, they're not successful. It doesn't, fuck them. But again, this just feels fake, man. It feels fake. It feels phony. It's incredulous for you to sit there and say, people are going to remember this for generations. The fuck are you talking about, man?
Poor people don't like AEW.
That's like you're at GCW going, people will remember this for generations, and you're on one of the many GCW shows out there. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. Like, if Sabu just had that match with Joey Janela and then Sabu didn't die a few days later or a week later, that's what people remember more than the match itself, for instance. Right? So, like, it's not something people will remember. Sandman selling his eye for generations and caning Tommy Dreamer. Thank you. May I have another? Unfortunately, they won't remember his Invisible Man match for generations. You know what I'm saying? And they drew probably what Darby's drew at this fucking Dynamite, at this last Dynamite or the one before. So I don't know. I'm banging on this a lot, but it's just crazy how much they are just putting this fucking run over. Like, it's been very, to me, lackluster as far as anticipation, as far as what they're doing on the show, like what they're getting out of this. It's just, again, MJF going back to what he does, and then Darby just being like, I don't give a fuck about money or fame. I'm their champ and shit. And it's like, yeah, clearly neither does Tone or any of the wrestlers. That's what it is about, right? Like, Darby embodies that car crash style / we actually don't care. This is just the indies with a billionaire funding it. But then they want to pretend that's not what it is. And it's like, if we could just own that this is what it is, I think they would get more of a cult following like ECW had, or they would have if Tone did that from Jump Street. Now, I know Tone's found Jesus, okay? I know that Tone's found Jesus, but...
The best guy's Tony Khan!
When you have people shilling for you and saying shit like...
Poor people don't like AEW.
And then you got to brag about the cheap tickets, and then Darby's struggling to sell 2K of them, and then you're telling me he's on a generational run. I'm sorry, but it just feels like I'm having smoke blown up my ass, and it's disingenuous, and people just don't like that. And yet it's always, AEW's the genuine company, and Tone's so genuine and nice. But it's like, you guys are always blowing smoke, and you call these fucking jabronis on the phone, Tone. So that's why we know it's not real what they're saying. Anyways, I'm going off, but it just irks me. It's like, no, okay? I'm not about to fucking, you're telling me the earth's flat, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. Like,
they say So, yeah, him and MJF then signed the contract. The hair match is on. Hair versus title at Double or Nothing.
With the most obvious outcome ever. So, Dave had a bit to say about this as well, and the build-up, and he just talked about this last Dynamite and the segment with MJF and Darby, how it was just the greatest thing he's ever fucking seen in his life. And so here's Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez. I think, yeah, Dave is with him here, and they are putting over this opening segment, which it's kind of funny. Then they went overkill with it, and then Ricochet kind of ruined it. And again, they just love this so much. And I pointed this out in the bonus episode of DMDMW on PWT Patreon, where I talked about how Bryan Alvarez, like, he will shit on all of this cheesy wrestling stuff. And when WWE does stuff that's like comedy-ish, he'll shit on it. But then he will run to the indies and do the cheesiest, phoniest comedy garbage stuff ever. He will do it himself. He made multiple shots fucking just before WrestleMania there. So he just loves this. Him and Dave are eating this up. Meanwhile, if this was like even Danhausen, they're like, oh, they're doing too much of this. And it's like, how many bald, like, we've already had the bald Ricochet thing forever. And then now we're doing a bald shtick with MJF, and he's looking at all the bald guys, and they just fucking love this. And Dave loves this because he thinks he's got a full head of hair like MJF. But again, it's just the cheesy, phony shit that if it happens anywhere else, they fucking trash it. But when it's in AEW, they love it, and this is real graps. And meanwhile, Bryan Alvarez will do a run-in and throw the shittiest super kicks you've ever seen. He can't even super kick like a 5'8" guy, right? And then that's all good when he's doing it. When he's doing phony baloney shit with Marco Stunt or whatever, it's all good. But anyways,
Dynamite opened with one of my all-time favorite segments they've ever had. It was so wacky.
That's actually a really cute segment.
Now, you know what's funny? So Dave says it's really cute. Real graps. And here's the other thing, right? Trick and Yachty on SmackDown. That was one of the greatest comedy openings of a fucking wrestling show ever, in my opinion. It was so fucking funny. Everyone was so on point. Yachty knows how to work with the crowd. Like, some people go out there and you can tell they don't understand a wrestling crowd, like when to give things a moment, let them chant something out, and then grab their attention. He knew exactly what he's doing in there. Yachty's so good. Trick was amazing. And then you had Kit Wilson and Miz come out there. The crowd they were both being so funny. Like, Kit Wilson's poem rapping, that shit's hilarious. And this is funny too. This is. But then they kind of go overkill with it. And again, you won't hear Dave and Bryan. And the crowd was so into it. They drew. Everybody's whipping the towels. Whoop that Trick. They will never put that segment over as good as they put this shit over. And Dave is like, oh, it's really cute and shit like that. But I thought this is the real, actual wrestling for grown adults and not child-fed slop TikTok brain. Meanwhile, they're doing hot, you're bald. That's the joke. Like, or you're going to be bald. It's like the lowest of the low-hanging fruit. Anyways.
Dynamite opened with one of my all-time favorite segments they've ever had. It was so wacky.
That's actually a really cute segment.
It was so awesome.
It was really good.
It
was really cute, Brian.
Standing there, and Renee's like, Darby wins tonight, MJF. You got to sign a contract for a world title match with your hair on the line. Are you ready for that? And MJF, he thinks, and then he shakes his head and he starts walking off. And he's walking through the backstage area for 50 seconds.
And everybody's bald.
And
then Dave just can't help but step on the story. And Bry thinks he's doing this good job, and he's just, oh man, and he's just looking around. He's doing such a bad job describing it all. Also, Why the fuck aren't they getting copyright DMCA twittered for just playing the fucking clip?
The person he passes is bald. And the only thing that I didn't like about this was it was so great. But then at the end, he had to run into Ricochet, who pretty much had to explain the joke. And he takes off his hat and he goes, "You look great, bald." But
yeah, and it ruins it because Ricochet is like a bad guy as well. And he's a piece of shit too. So you're not supposed to give him the spot that's like to pop the crowd or whatever, right? Like you do that, you give a baby face that spot. I don't fucking know. They just don't know how to book.
Every person that he walked by, I was just, oh my God, that guy's bald.
See, that's what it should have been like Ciampa. Is Ciampa a babyface or is he kind of healing? Yeah, he healed on Briscoe. That's what it is, man. You have to, it's got to be someone who's a fucking babyface at the tail end to like get the pop from the crowd. And then everyone's like, yeah, I kind of like that dude, you know? But nobody's back there. Not even MJF is back there going, hey, bud. Hey, Tone, bud. I don't know which bald baby faces they have there.
Bald.
Though.
That guy's bald. And at first, MJF is just seeing the guys. And then the more guys he sees, the more you realize, oh my God, everybody is bald. I will be bald if I take this match. And like everybody, it was awesome. I absolutely love this segment.
You know, I
actually everything with MJF and Darby on the show was awesome.
Oh my! I tell you what.
Oh my, Dave. Oh my. He just loves when Bryan loves AEW, and I don't know, man. The overrun thing, and Dave is going to talk about it. I think he says it right here, and if not right here, he says it eventually, and we have another clip. But he calls the overrun a masterpiece. Buddy, it was just a fucking contract signing segment. We've seen 100 of them. He never called Roman versus Punk a masterpiece, even though they were cutting fiery fucking promos, doing the work shoot shit and everything, and just cutting fiery fucking promos. Dave wasn't, it's a masterpiece. But they're calling the 17-minute overrun that nobody watched, probably got the lowest viewership and tanked the overall fucking rating of the show, of MJF Darby as a masterpiece. It's crazy.
I thought that final segment of the show.
Yeah, this is it right here. Dave is fucking lost his mind.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh. I tell you what, I thought that final segment of the show was fantastic. I mean, as far as like building a pay-per-view, like I've gone from, we got a pay-per-view on the 25th. Between the new matches that were added, or 24th actually, between the new matches that were added and that segment, I mean, I'll tell you what, like sometimes like they'll do stipulations and I go like, man, they didn't do a very good job of getting the stipulation over. I say that with WWE a lot too. But
this has to bring, I say that with WWE a lot too. Yeah, we know, Dave. Everybody knows that. And you're lying about saying that. Well, no, he said it a couple times for AEW, but the problem is that then you still give it a 5-star match. And it's like, okay, Dave, if they don't do a good job explaining the build, and then the fucking house is what it is, right? Then is it a 5-star match compared to like a WWE match where they do get the Hell in a Cell build over? You know what I'm saying? Like he just does not keep the same energy for shit. It's just about the moves they do. And he'll never cop to it. And I will harp on this every moment I can until Dave admits to Phil S. Marks that it is just based on the moves they fucking do in the moment and nothing else.
For, the young superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So they could not have done a better job. I mean, they got that hair thing over so big.
I don't know how big they really got it over. But speaking of getting over and being in AEW, Dave and Bry actually have a little bit of a fight here when it comes to AEW and how they should be approaching getting Will Ospreay over. Because again, I think personally, Ospreay is the worst booked guy. I think he is overall even more than like Swerve and shit. I think Ospreay, and this isn't a knock on Ospreay. I'm a big fan. When he was coming into AEW, I was like pumped for him, you know. You can go back and listen to old PWT. Like I was high on it, even though there was lots of criticisms about he might not do that well, or like he's just another flippy guy. And I was like defending him, like, nah, man, he can do good shit. You just gotta it's gotta be booked right. I think personally, he's the biggest overpaid waste of money in AEW. And you can see with like the Wembley pre-sale, like if he was a big star, he's from the UK. People should be going nuts there like he's Elvis. Like, look at Dom Mysterio. Look at El Grande, who's from Mexico, by the way, and definitely not Germany, right? But look at El Grande Americano, how he's a draw in Mexico. Like, that's not even where he's from. If you were a draw, you'd have people going crazy for you like Dom Mysterio in Mexico. And again, wasn't he born in like that dude was born in like San Jose or some shit, right? So Will Ospreay and them going to Wembley, like that should be a massive draw. This should be a huge fucking deal. If he's worth millions of dollars, this should be like, oh my God, fucking Ospreay. Everyone's going fucking insane, right? And he might be a bit of a reason for the 24K, but he's not really, because he was at All In before. He's done All Ins before, and they drew more. So if he was really a big part of that, you would see it. It would reflect that, right? Like, you saw the people go crazy on SmackDown. The crowd was nuts for Trick Willie in his region, in his hometown or his area where he came up. Was he born there? Yeah, I think he was born there, right? But anyways, he went to college there and stuff where they were just at for SmackDown. Either way. And with Ospreay, you think he would make more of an impact. By the way, the SmackDown crowd was dead after that Trick Williams segment. They were dead for the whole rest of the fucking super mid show, other than the main event, Danhausen and that opener. But Will Ospreay, since his return especially, he's been the worst booked guy. Point blank. So since he debuted in AEW, he hasn't been booked that great. He's had some pretty good matches, and they've put him in there with opponents that like, okay, he's going to have bangers with or whatever. But overall, they didn't book him that well. He should be a massive draw in the UK for them. And since his return from the injury, from the moment he returned until now, where he's doing these gay prison booty hole exercises, right? Where they're playing grab ass in the park and playing drop the soap and shit with the Bumbleclaw clan. It is the worst booked guy, I think, maybe in all of AEW right now. I'm not even joking. Maybe there's some shit on Collision I'm overlooking, but it is. He's I think the worst booked guy in all of AEW currently, and they're paying this guy millions of dollars. So, I'm actually going to agree with Trying Brian here a little bit. Will Ospreay should be walking through Ace Austin, even though Ace Austin is dope. And Dave is going to argue against this because Dave is just like, well, Ace Austin's dope, Brian. Right? Ace Austin rules, so fuck you. They should have a banger and go to the limit because Ace Austin's this really awesome, good wrestler. Even though you wouldn't know that watching the show, really. Or maybe you'd know he can do moves and shit, but again, he's just kind of there. They just signed him to keep him away from TNA type shit. So let's take a listen. And here is Dave versus Brian, round 1, fight.
Like, the match in a vacuum was good, but it was like, bro, this was your first match since A, you allegedly got cleared. B, you've been trained to be a killer from the Death Riders. C, Jon Moxley just gave you a speech about don't give so much, just go out there and kill this fucking guy. 15 minutes to beat Ace Austin.
And this is the problem, too, because Mike Bailey was on Dynamite, and he's fighting some jobber who tries to do like a cartwheel over the top rope where it doesn't even make sense to do that. And then Mike Bailey's standing there just looking like a dumbass. And this guy just falls on his ass, doesn't know how to recover. And now people are memeing him. And it's like, why are we? And I'm not saying Ace Austin's that guy. He would have fucking hit that move for sure. But it's like, why are we doing this? And it's not about squashing Ace Austin, but just give him like a 5-minute TV match or whatever. It doesn't have to be Ace Austin's not an established guy. He shouldn't be going 15 minutes with Bruvspray, who fucking just came back and like Alvarez said, now he's training with Moxley, so he should be real prison fighter rank guy. And now he's just shittier than he was before. Like, the booking is absolutely terrible, and Dave is about to sleep. The best guy's Tony Khan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, dude. Like,
doesn't matter.
He's
doesn't matter. He just said it doesn't matter. Did you hear that? Oh my God. Dave just says it doesn't matter. Cuts him off to go, doesn't matter that they went 15 minutes. So doesn't matter that the TV ratings are the lowest since January. Doesn't matter that they're back below 600K even with inflated Nielsen numbers. Doesn't matter that the fucking TV deal's coming up and they're struggling to sell 2K tickets to fucking shows. None of that fucking matters because Tone can paper an extra 3,000 fucking tickets to make sure there's a sellout at this fucking New York show that MJF drew for everybody. Fuck, man. Fuck, Dave. Fuck. You're just killing this company.
Let's just go out there and kill this fucking guy. 15 minutes to beat Ace Austin.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, dude. Like,
doesn't matter.
He's
doesn't matter.
Killer,
that triggers me. I'm triggered. No, it's fight night, dude. I'm just ready tonight. Netflix MMA, let's go. But for real, you see that face, Alvarez? Oh my God, I need to fucking. That's a thumbnail right there. That's a fucking thumbnail right there, buddy. But Alvarez is just like, oh my God.
They're literally telling that story everywhere except in the ring. He's got to kill Ace Austin.
I don't worry about this stuff because we've already proven for years that it doesn't matter.
Proven for years that what doesn't matter, Dave. 1.4 million people used to watch the show, and now 590,000 people watch the show with inflated Nielsen numbers. Okay? So pay-per-view sales are down, which I know he would claim the opposite, but he's just wrong. He doesn't know what he's looking at all. Or when he just lies about them. There's zero proof of the invisible max. So what have you proved doesn't matter. They struggled to sell 2,000 tickets for Dynamite. Holy fucking shit, man. Dave has been the biggest detriment, more than Tony Khan.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
It's supposed to matter, Dave.
People will say, I'm a goddamn AEW hater. Who stands up for AEW more than Phil Marks? Who stands up for them and goes, fuck these guys? Tone! Fucking put a shield up. Get rid of these assholes. I fucking defended Tone more than anybody, dude. I actually care. People who don't care goes, no, it's all fine, man. You're doing great. It doesn't matter. And look at this condescending fucking look on Dave's face. God damn it. I'm upset.
To matter. This guy's supposed to be headlining Wembley. We got tickets to sell.
Good.
He's going to be the top guy afterwards.
It's not going to sell one less.
Come on.
Number one, it's not going to sell one less.
Good, he says. It's like that asshole, what's that guy's name? Jocko Willinks or whatever. He's like, good. You guys know what I'm talking about? He has that video. Oh, yeah. You get fired from your job. Good. You guys ever see that where I think it was like Everlast, that musician that Eminem had beef with back in the day, but he's like a singer now and shit, or maybe he was a singer back then. But Everlast, he was talking about how his daughter has like this weird lung cancer, this weird like disease they can't cure. And then Joe Rogan's like, you know what, man? Look at this video of Jocko being like, good. Whenever something wrong happens in your life, man, just say good. And Everlast is like, well, she has a disease they can't cure. Saying good isn't enough there, Joe. I don't know why I thought of that, but just because Dave, good. Brian's like, they need to sell tickets. Dave's just like, good. Good that they do this shitty stuff. Good for them. Tone's a billionaire. Doesn't matter. You know that, Brian? Like, Dave does not care, bro. The sickos who just go, yeah, they don't care. AEW goes away, they'll just watch GCW and they just won't care anymore, you know? It's the problem.
Come on!
Number one, it's not going to sell one less ticket. Number two, You got to peak him in August. We're in May.
No, you
gotta
don't.
peak him in August. You know, Dave talk. Oh, it's the peak. The peak is down. You gotta peak him in August. What does that even mean, you fucking dumb fucking asshole? What does peak him in August mean? You got to do it now because you're trying to sell tickets to the show, and the show's in August, so you don't want to fucking peak him in August when you only have 20,000 fucking tickets sold.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Dave is killing your company, Tone. He's killing it. Oh my God.
You got to peak him now because he's about to win the tournament. The tournament is starting,
Good.
Dave.
Good.
We're not going to peak him in the
What
tournament.
the fuck does Dave know about booking wrestling? You got to peak him in August. What does that mean, peak him, Dave? So Roman Reigns should have gone 15 minutes with Apollo Crews so that they could peak him for his match with fucking where he double stacks I was gonna say Alvarez, but Bryan Danielson and Edge or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you legitimately talking about? You crazy asshole. Peak him. What does that mean? So he can start squashing guys in August, right before this pay-per-view that we're trying to sell you now, running ads for now, that we're pre-selling now, and you tune in and go, oh, here's the UK talent who's coming, and he just, like Ace Austin, some fucking TNA guy takes him to the limit. What, and like, I don't even, I'm trying to justify like what Dave even means. What the fuck does peak him mean? He's going to magically get more popular in August? Fuck you talking about, Dave? See, it doesn't matter. We've shown for years that you can just book shitty, but then right before a pay-per-view, you can fucking just make him cut a good promo, and then last minute, the sickos get hype, and then the tickets are already sold, and then they go and do a match where they just do a bunch of physical shit, and then I give it 5 stars, and then it's all good. Like, I don't get, like, look at Dave. He's genuinely confused.
No, he's got to win.
It's a tournament to become the number one contender. He's got to peak in the tournament.
Okay, so if he wins the tournament, do you think one person's going to care that he tried to help Ace Austin?
Maybe, buddy. Maybe, because this is why. Ready, stupid? Miz is trying to help people because he's done. He's not going to win the title again. Okay? So he just loses to everybody. Damian Priest doesn't lose to everybody, but he's kind of in that boat too. And there's some guys in WWE who they just fucking lay down for people right now. Rusev's one of these guys. He might get a couple wins here or there, but he's doing the job because he's helping guys out. Will Ospreay shouldn't be helping guys out right now and helping out Ace Austin right now. Why? Because he hasn't won the title. He does not draw. He's not established other than the people who are already established. Right now, MJF is begging on his hands and knees, doing the fucking Liv Morgan hoe crawl on the ground, on his hands and knees, begging people on Twitter, please come watch this. Hey, bud, you ever watch AE fucking W? Right? He's begging people to watch the alternative, bud. Begging people. They're begging the casuals right now. So yes, Will Ospreay should be being built like he's a superstar and like he's a somebody. And he shouldn't be like, oh, that guy's just helping people out right now. Like he shouldn't be fucking, especially in the story where he's in prison, tickling Mox's bum. Right? Playing touch butt in the grass. He should be like choking dudes out real quick or some shit. He should have a new hold, pal. Instead, it's just the same old shit, and he's helping guys. How did it help Ace Austin? Explain that. Well, they got to see he could do some cool moves. We already fucking know he can do that. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody fucking cares, or they would have watched him in TNA. Holy shit.
No one's going to care. They're going to, oh my God, he won the tournament. He beat
Nobody's going to care. You just said it, Dave. That's the underlying fucking problem. Nobody's going to care. Great. Nobody cares about anything. Make us care. This doesn't make us care. That's the problem right there. Your ass backwards motherfucker.
You know, he beat
do you hear Bry? Bry's just, oh man, he's just fucking.
He won the tournament. He beat Swerve. He beat
he's like, oh, do you guys hear that? Oh my God, under his breath. Oh my God, Dave's fucking lost it.
In the tournament, he beat Swerve. He beat who's he beat in the first round? Samoa Joe, and he'll sell like crazy for Joe too.
And then listen, and here's the problem too. Like the MJF shit's super predictable, and then what else is predictable? Dave's just laying it out. Ospreay is gonna beat Joe. So then why watch Double or Nothing? Then who fucking cares to watch them do fucking moves when we already know the outcome? What the fuck? I'm melting down. Chat. I'm going to check in with chat, but I am melting the fuck down right now. What do you mean? And this is the booking. Like, yeah, he's just going to walk through this guy and walk through Joe, and he's going to beat everybody, and it's all good. What is that? We don't care about any of this. We don't care. It's too predictable, and we don't care. Fucking super. So look at Dave just laying out, saying, people don't care, and look at this predictable shit he's about to do to make people care somehow. The two most glaring obvious problems, and he goes, it doesn't matter in his brain. And he's convinced Tone of that. That's the fucking problem.
And he's going to win
through this clip before I punch a hole through my fucking screen.
Tournament. He's going to go to Wembley. They're going to draw whatever they're going to draw. And
they're going to draw whatever they're going to fucking draw. Tony Khan, come on down, Mr. Moneybag. Come on down. They're going to draw what they're going to draw, so fuck them. It's already a wash. Who cares? Yeah, it's a low fucking attended event, the lowest Wembley show of all time, but who cares? Fuck it. Fuck it.
He sold for Ace Austin. No one's even going to remember it. Maybe it'll help Ace Austin a little bit.
Then why not do something everyone's going to remember, Dave?
A little credibility.
Not gonna help Ace Austin. He's gonna be in the same spot.
Exactly. Oh, it gives him a little credibility. Why? How?
We know this.
Well, he goes to the limit with Ospreay, but everyone goes to the limit with everyone. So people just saw fucking DIY go to the limit with your fucking TNT champion, and we're like, nobody cares, dude. That you got to come with something new, right?
We know this.
Okay, but guess what? I mean, that's how they got Kyle Fletcher over. That's how they got Takeshita over.
I mean, Fletcher's not. Is he over? To the sickodom, to the sicko sphere, he's over. Takeshita, is he over? I wouldn't even say he's over. Really. Right? It depends where you go. But to a very even like subsection of AEW fans, when they go to Winnipeg and Takeshita's there, they don't know who the fuck Winnipeg is, buddy. I don't know if you know this, Dave. They don't know who that is, right? They don't know who that is. So, and that's fine. You showcase them there. You try and get them over, but no.
You know, by doing
they just see who's this guy. And why isn't Ospreay, who we fucking know, who's getting paid millions of dollars to be here and supposed to be a world beater training with Mox, why isn't he kicking people's ass?
That exact thing, and with the same complaints. Oh, why is
Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita were heels, so they should be giving a lot to the babyface. This guy's in a storyline where he's a babyface who's been taught to be a killer, except he's the same Will Ospreay.
They were no
exactly. Yes, no, yep. He's the same guy. He does the same shit, same moves. He just sells his neck less. Every match he just sells a little less.
Okay, so
the only thing he did different was an armbar at the end.
Yeah, because they're trying to get over that he's now a submission guy.
But
then why not just tap him out real quick with the submission and get it over? And then people go, "Oh shit, he's a fucking submission guy." Fuck you, Dave.
You want to get over that he was a killer.
Get your chats in. Check in with chat in a minute.
That's what Moxie said. You're a killer now. You're a bird of prey.
He won by submission, which he never does.
Trying to get over he's a submission guy now. Yeah, but no one believes that because Mox sucks at jiu-jitsu IRL. And he cries when he loses. So why the fuck would we think he's a submission guy when Mox isn't even really a submission guy? He's a stab you with chopsticks and DDT you guy.
He's never won by submission before, which was a key. The other thing is he wrestled so completely different than he usually does. I mean, it's like, he did 2 or 3 flying things, but most of it was between selling and.
Well, if we're being honest, Dave.
Between selling, so Dave, you admit that he doesn't sell. Gotcha.
And
it was
technical
Freudian slip.
Quiet crowd during his match.
It was quiet. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. They have to get used to the new Will Ospreay.
They got used to the new Will Ospreay. No, they don't know who he is because there's not even there's fucking 2,000 people there and they're not drawing and they don't know who the fuck he is and they don't know who Ace Austin is. They got them used. Listen to how he says like it was a glaring fucking blaring success. Everyone's raving about the new Will Ospreay. Listen to this.
It was quiet. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. They have to get used to the new Will Ospreay.
They have to get used to it. Okay. At least he said they have to, but now it's on the fans now. No, you have to get used to this new Will Ospreay because that's what he does. So if he does that and he's the shits, because part of being one of those technical guys, you got to be really good at selling, and that requires selling on offense and defensively, or when you're taking offense, like a Dean Malenko or a Chris Benoit, if that's the route you want to go. Maybe Zack Sabre Jr. I don't know. Some people don't even rank him. He's like a modern technical guy, but. And what I mean by that is it's more like elaborate, weird holds than it is like aggression and like I'm stretching you, man, So Will Ospreay, they're trying to get over the new Ospreay where he's like some technical guy that it's just not going to work because he just doesn't have that. That's the worst part of his game. And he broke his fucking neck doing dumb shit for you. And now you're going to clap your booty cheeks for this, Dave, when it's like super mid and the crowd doesn't fucking react. And then Dave goes, well, they have to get used to it. It's not on him. They have to get used to it. Go fuck yourself. Quit blaming the fans always. Speaking of blaming the fans, I blame you for getting me so mad. Cashman A for 5. Thank you for the support. Says wrestling is meant to be viewed holistically. Story plus production plus match plus everything. Exactly. So that's when I rant and go, why the fuck does Dave just say he just likes the moves? Why doesn't he factor in these other things? Because the majority of wrestling fans, it's not about business. It's not, who drew about business, but it's like, it's what's palatable, man. WrestleMania 18 had a crazier crowd than whatever fucking GCW show. Like, Cardona and Ospreay could go out there and have a death match where they do all these moves and there's 1,000 people there. That just can't rate higher than a fucking crowd where people are spilling over and it's 2 icons and they go out there and work the crowd. It's all about just garnering heat to work marks out of money. That's all it is, to buy a ticket to see your shit and go crazy. So who does that the best, right? And it's just like, what's palatable? We can see the attendance, Dave. That's why even Brian goes, the crowd was dead, Dave. Who cares if the crowd was dead? Everybody, Everybody cares. Everybody who actually understands this shit. Sorry, let me get to the second part of the super chat here. AEW fans watch everything in a vacuum. It's all just a match. Exactly. And Dave has coached them to do that. Thank you for the super chat. And also like Tone really thinks that too. It's just this, and it's not just the match, because just a match, you have to kind of factor in, well, what platform is it on? Is there 100 people in a barn? Because the same thing happens in MMA, right? Like, people had some of the craziest MMA fights, back and forth brawls you've seen, and especially back in the early days, some of the most technical bouts in the early days happened where nobody heard of it, nobody saw it, nobody gave a fuck because there's nobody there, and it happened in a fucking parking lot of a Walmart, or it happened at it happened at like a King of the Cage event that people don't really remember, right? Like some of the greatest MMA fights back in the day too, especially would happen in places where like nobody saw them, so they don't rate. But like if you were talking technicality, like there's footage of people in Japan fighting using like low calf kicks, using the type of like mixed martial arts grappling to striking and shit. In the early days, like footage from the 90s in Japan, where they were really mixing it all together to where you didn't even see that to like the modern era now, where everybody's kind of good at everything, but then like, okay, this guy's also a really good wrestler, you know? But back in the day, you used to get matchups where it was like striker versus grappler. There's footage of guys like having fights in Japan in like the early 90s where they were already doing everything you see today, for instance. But nobody rates that shit because nobody fucking saw it or knows what it was. Okay? And I hope I'm making sense here. Like they don't understand that. And you worded it perfectly. It's just all in a vacuum. It's like just in that moment they did this crazy moves, so that rate's high. They don't factor in like who drew, what's the platform, what do these guys mean, where are they in their careers? And and sometimes too, what can make a great match is, let's say you get a guy like R-Truth and you don't expect much from him. He's a comedy guy and maybe he's at the end of his shit. And then he goes out there and like has a banger with maybe one day he goes out there and has a banger with like a Trick Williams. And then everyone's like, that was just an incredible match, one of the best matches ever. And it's on a big WWE PLE or something like that. Or it's like on a Raw where everyone's like, that's one of the best TV matches fucking ever. And a lot of the times I like to separate the two, TV match from overall too, because there's something to be said there as far as like, okay, you have a banger TV match, but if it's a PLE, that almost like gives you bonus star ratings in my book a little bit, right? Like not automatically. Some PLEs shit the bed overall, and it's like, what? You guys get what I'm saying? The point is like, yes, could Truth sneak in and have like one of the greatest matches of all time? Yes, but because we don't expect it from him, that can also factor into what makes it such a great match. So it's not like you have to just be The Rock and Stone Cold to get a 5-star match, right? I'm not saying that at all. But it's just the fact that he obviously looks at it in a vacuum, like you said there in the super chat. It's not only that he looks at it like that, but it's the fact he just won't admit that shit. And if he just admitted it, and when CVV called him out for it, or just said, oh, okay, well, it's just your opinion and it's just the moves you like or whatever. And Dave was like, well, no, we get it right. And with his awards, it's not like our fan base is AEW centric. We watch all the wrestling. We're more elitists. And if he just copped to all that, it would be fine. But he goes, they're smarter. They're more intelligent. I wrote and knew everything. And it's the objective observer. We got all the awards right. And we got all of the fucking match star ratings right and shit. Like he truly believes that. No, my observations are, I'm pretty accurate with that's what he's telling Giga Chad Van Vliet. It's like, buddy, you're fucking cooked. Sorry. I'm going off here today. Lion Prince 2001's been a member for 14 goddamn months. Oh my goodness. For a year. So let's get more into this shit, guys, because I am on one today. And we are sharing, yes, this tab here. So Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez, they continue to duke it out. They fight a little bit more, I believe, here. So Meltzer said what post this?
But it was like, bro, this was your first match since.
So, well, no, this is the unclipped version here.
When they were, yeah, because they're trying to get over these now submission. He won by submission, which he never does. He's never won by submission.
Okay, so we just listened to that, but here was Meltzer said what the GOAT's take on this, okay? And there may have been a little bit more in this clip, but we listened to it. I yelled about it enough. We don't need any more context. Meltzer said what says, I love how everything in pro wrestling matters and must be deconstructed until it's the mildest criticism of AEW booking. Then it's, who cares? It doesn't matter. Exactly. So that's the other thing, man. Dave and Bry, they want to just break down every little thing about everything with wrestling to the point like that's the culture now. Even I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking aesthetic mark, and I like to break down even like how the production looks and all of that sort of shit. Like I get it. But when it comes to AEW, this is what people don't like. It's just, who cares? Doesn't matter. Dynamite Dave trying to turn Bryan Alvarez into a sympathetic babyface in the year 26. It won't happen, Meltzer said. What? Because Bryan's doing disingenuous shit too. He's been getting really bad with his phony faux bullshit that he peddles as well. So in other Wrestling Observer AEW news, the Young Bucks, okay? Let me see here. We have like a major cope session from Dave. Where's the Young Bucks thing? Sorry for the scrolling, guys. I had it, and then I fucking... Okay, so the Wrestling Observer reports this. Maybe this should have been in AEW news, but Matt Jackson says there were talks with Triple H on crossover New Day feud. And then I tweet out, Wrestling Observer, the biggest clickbait hacks in human history. It was 2018. It would have been WWE signing the Bucks. Oh, yeah, so look at this. Matt Jackson says there were talks with Triple H on crossover New Day feud. So it was in 2018. So what would the crossover be? Indie guys going to face fucking a crossover between PWG and WWE. So I write this tweet and I felt the Observer. I go, Wrestling Observer, the biggest clickbait hacks in human history. It was 2018. It would have been WWE signing the Bucks to face New Day, not a fucking crossover. AEW didn't exist then. Stop grifting off of low IQ wrestling fans and preying on sickos, dude. And it's true. It's damn true. When he tells people they're grifting, right there, look at that shitty headline that he comes up with and pulls out of his ass. So speaking of pulling shit out of his ass, Dave Meltzer has been coping over friend of the show, Niccolo Piccolo, and what he had to say about AEW and their current TV rights deal, and what's going on with that. Not their current deal, but the one that's coming up, right? When the merger happens or the acquisition happens or whatever between Paramount and WBD. Now, Dave Meltzer, we covered it already. He had like a little mini spurg out sesh where he was just crying about Niccolo Piccolo, but he will not name him. He who shall not be named. And then recently at the Ring of Honor press conference last night, media scrum, we saw Tony Khan actually address this. However, notice how Tone needed Dave to write a story and talk about it and signal boost it so that, and come up with a story that AEW sources, which we're about to talk about, Dave just completely lies about this.
Liar!
Right? And Tone waits for Dave to signal boost a fake story so he can then respond to it instead of responding to Niccolo Piccolo straight up because they fear this man
Tony
for some reason. And Nick was on PWT, and I asked him, I was like, are you worried about like, you know, possible legal action or anything? And he's like, fuck no. Like, what, you know, why won't they mention me? Why isn't anybody? Essentially what he's been saying on his Twitter and what he said on PWT was like, no, because I'm not lying. That's why, you know? So like, that's why they're just not addressing what I have to say. And we've seen the Niccolo Piccolo Paradigm letters, like we read them. Tone was straight up directly. Paradigm was telling him, stop talking about Tone. So all of that shit he said was true about that. What makes you think he's making up anything when it comes to him saying, I triple source that fucking WB is not going to renew AEW or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. Because it's not like those Paradigm letters make him look that any good, you know, by fucking putting those out there. Like, yes, his Twitter activity is what fucking got him canned. Because Tone went after him and shit. But whatever. I'm not trying to keep redigging that up, but it does directly apply to what we're about to talk about. So what we're about to talk about, that's why I kicked your leg from your leg, Brett. So Dave did a little bit of melting down and coping, right, on X, and Niccolo Piccolo's trying to get his attention here. Of course, Dave has him muted, or I think he just has him muted. He doesn't have him outright blocked. But basically, Dave's talking about this whole news that came out. And remember, we covered it on Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. He lied about whatever that guy's name is. I called him JF McMullen or Jeff McMullen or some shit. And Nick was like, who the fuck is that? You're talking about a 30-year NFL reporter. Yeah, I don't know NFL reporters, buddy. Whatever the fuck his name is, that J McMullen guy wrote that article, and Dave just lied on that guy's name too. Lied and said a bunch of shit that the guy didn't even say. But anyways, this guy goes, right, but Amazon isn't giving AEW $500 million. AMC isn't dropping TNA in a second for AEW. So the actual situation regarding WWE TKO, Little Sister TNA, and AEW is previously stated. Meltzer goes, Paramount gave UFC $7.7 billion over 7 years. Yup. Given AEW did about the same number of TV viewers and maybe half the pay-per-view numbers, what would that make AEW worth to Paramount? This just shows you how fucking stupid Dave Meltzer is.
Just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Of course, they won't value the same, but if per view is half, what does that add up to? Dave is fucking mentally ill. Okay. The UFC will bring eyeballs to Paramount. AEW will not. The numbers you're saying, Dave, only you claim to have them. Nobody has these numbers. These pay-per-view numbers and shit that you claim exist. Nobody actually knows them, and all of the trends indicate differently. Then why does UFC trend way fucking higher than AEW? Way fucking higher. He has no idea what he's talking about. He thinks UFC is the same thing as AEW just because of views. It's pretty nutty, man. He doesn't understand. Like, UFC is NFL, is WWE, is NHL, is fucking... You can own the XFL, cool. Oh, they did half the views of the NFL, so... They're going to give the XFL $500 million because they gave NFL $1 billion to. That's what he thinks, man. That's how he thinks this works. Because they're in bed with WWE, so it's worth this much to Paramount. They gave $7.7 billion, so half that. They'll give $3.5. They'll give $4 billion to AEW. AEW's worth $4 billion to them. Even though they don't have a void for wrestling fans, AEW doesn't fill that void of, it's not going to bring in all these wrestling fans. Like, he doesn't understand. When they do a deal with NFL, the football fans go, well, I need to watch NFL so I can do it on Paramount, so I'm going to go watch it on Paramount. He doesn't understand that there's no AEW fans going, AEW fans just want it for free. If you put it on YouTube, it'd be the best move because they just want to watch it for free, and they illegally stream the shit more than any other fan base. Dave just has no clue about this stuff. Okay? So this guy, like Dave, that's just one of the most incredibly fucking stupidest, dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And Fried Melon goes, question, because I'm still confused, lost. Wouldn't have TKO have signed some sort of exclusivity deal with Paramount already? If TKO's goal is to route out AEW, wouldn't they have already preemptively done so with its subsidiaries, not just WWE? No, because they don't have to do that. Well, wouldn't they? So if they were trying to block out AEW, wouldn't they have signed an exclusivity thing? Nope. Because that's more T's to cross and lowercase J's to dot that you don't need to fight. Why? You don't need to do that. We just won't fuck with AEW. We just don't fuck with them. My question is, are they legally able to renew? Not will they renew if able, as the answer for that is more than likely yes. Holy fuck. So then Dave responds to this. There is no evidence of that, but an exclusive deal for MMA would not cover pro wrestling. Dave. Fried Melon was saying exclusive with TKO. Right? So just TKO owned and operated exclusivity deal is what he was talking about. He said TKO, not MMA. would not cover pro wrestling, just as the Netflix deal didn't stop Netflix from airing MMA or boxing, both of which TKO has brands of. Now, again, the Netflix WWE Raw deal and WWE deal internationally is different than the UFC Paramount deal, Dave. But yeah, that's not what he asked you, and it's not a 1-to-1 at all. So anyways, we move along. And again, they didn't need to sign an exclusivity deal with Netflix either. They don't need to do that. And I just think that AEW is way less of competition than anybody tries to make it out to be, really, even probably myself. Nicolo Piccolo says Netflix is much bigger than Paramount. Boom. Even after an assumed Paramount WBD acquisition goes through, Netflix is still much bigger. Exactly. So Dave doesn't study and learn. He doesn't understand that WBD streaming. This is why Dave's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I have to hit another one.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Guys, we all got to understand something, right? WBD is 1.8% of the streaming. Let's say there's a whole pie. And we've looked at these pie charts, okay, on PWT Live Show every Wednesday and Saturday night. On the pie, fucking WBD is 1.8%, and that's giving them a lot of leeway. That's like the highest we've seen it. They've been as low as like 1.2% of the streaming pie. YouTube is number one with like 13%. Netflix is number two. You know, YouTube's been higher than that, 13 or more, even like 11. I think we've seen it as low as 11. So let's say like 11 to 15%. We're rounding low and high. We round low and high here. And then Netflix is at around like 12 on average. It sits at around like 12%, right? I think we've seen it as low as like 11, but I don't think it's gotten up to 15, but it's been like right around there. I think it's been 13% before, but it's really Netflix and YouTube, if my memory serves me correctly, right? But it is YouTube and Netflix are the top two streamers. So, and then Paramount is somewhere in the middle, I want to say mid-lower, right? So Paramount adding WBD streaming and like owning them and adding all their customers to the pie only adds not even 2%. If they're lucky, 1.5% extra on the pie. I don't even think Paramount is hitting 10% of the fucking pie at that point. So when you're talking UFC, Dave, that's a whole other fucking animal. Like we're talking like a whole different stratosphere of shit. And he's saying AEW, like, what are they going to bring to Paramount? Oh, well, the max numbers, 500,000 people watching, like nobody believes that. And that's not real. And if it was real, someone would just prove it and shut everybody up. Just like when WBD goes, we've never professionally in any formal way, in any professional capacity, told AEW that we're not renewing them. Okay, that's probably true. And they came out and said it. I'm going to believe them. Okay? Regardless of what Nick says. But they haven't come out and gone, yes, AEW's doing 500,000 viewers every week. Nobody's come out and said that. So like, what value do they add to Paramount? Fucking nothing. Nada. Okay? It would cost more money for them to market the thing than it's even fucking worth. Let's let Nicolo Piccolo break it down because he's much smarter than I in this field, right? Netflix is still much bigger than the combined studios. Ari Emanuel has advised David Ellison for over 15 years. That's what matters. When you hear Swerve coping and going, oh man, you know, these ties and these roots that Tony has, they go deeper than CNN. They go deeper than Ted Turner. They go deeper than just what you see on the surface, dog. Okay, so does Ellison, David Ellison and Ari Emanuel and TKO and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Dana White and Triple H and Vince McMahon. So do these people's relationship. They sit around a big table and laugh about Tony Khan and AEW, okay? They laugh about it. And Ari Emanuel has advised Ellison for over 15 years. His personal advisor, dude. His low-key, and when you Google it, it's like it's not even really on the books. So that just means they're boys. Like they're boys. You know, these guys are homies. This isn't just like, Oh, his advisor. He's his fucking homie, dude. You know, like how Colt Cabana's got a job still, Dave? Right? This is his homie. So do you think if he just goes, oh, yeah, this guy called Triple H, who's like him and Nick Khan are two of my fucking guys, man. There's the two of my good friends. And, you know, Tone was calling them bald assholes and shit, running pay-per-views head-to-head against us or whatever. You know? Made it so we're paying these athletes more. Let's do it business style. He makes it so we have to pay our guys way more than we want to. Let's say Ari's just going, hey, fuck the wrestlers. We're just talking TKO. We're talking money. He's going to advise Ellison, don't fuck with those guys. We don't fuck with those guys. We don't fuck with Rogan. We don't fuck with Tony, right? On some Crack Amico shit. He's like, don't fuck with those guys. That's all it boils down to. It's none of this other shit you're talking about. Nobody brings this shit up because they're scared to, because they know that's reality that they don't want to address. John Alba. Well, what people don't understand is that Tone, why wouldn't they want to keep AEW brings in viewers and they've brought in money and they run 52 weeks a year and everyone needs content. Nope, there's too much content. There's too much, in my opinion. Too much content right now. So no, they don't. They don't. They really fucking don't. They don't need AEW's content. And maybe they need content like AEW, but then they'll just do a deal with WWE and then it has WWE brand recognition. And then they'll just start a new show. They'll just do a new NXT show or something. Like they'll just pick up TNA. Paramount will go, okay, well, we'll fucking, what about TNA? We're rocking with them now. Whatever, they got to deal with AMC, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? They'll go, oh, you guys work with Reality of Wrestling, who just expanded Reality of Wrestling, did like a brand split, and they got two separate shows, their own like Raw and SmackDown. You know what I mean? Well, okay, we'll give Reality of Wrestling a fucking deal. You know? That's what'll happen, man. So, anyways, Ari Emanuel has advised Ellison for over 15 years. Ari advised Ellison on the Paramount acquisition. So you see what I'm saying? Ari advised Ellison on the Paramount acquisition of Warner Bros., guys. Ari advised Ellison on the WBD acquisition. He advised him on these acquisitions. Oh, man, but it's worth so much. Okay. You are using the logic of somebody who's not in Hollywood, not in the media business, and not close enough to either room to understand why you sound completely stupid. And it's like, you don't even got to be close. You really don't even have to be close to these rooms to fucking understand this. If you just look at people who are close to these rooms, talk about this shit, and people who've actually done television deals. And so Nicolo Piccolo, man, he's going at Dave. So Noah Gilbert says, if AEW ran Madison Square Garden for a pay-per-view, how many fans would they have in attendance? And there's this push for MSG. That shit ain't going to happen. And Dave goes, it would easily sell out the first time. Right? It would easily sell out the first time. Now, I'm not sure that that's the case. Just being honest. I'm not sure that AEW would sell out in MSG.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe. If you have MJF main eventing and shit, maybe there's a chance. And I know he's from Long Island, but maybe there's a possibility. But Nicolo Piccolo just goes, it will never happen. James Dolan owns MSG and AMC. So, again, connect those dots. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Let's Google it. Right? Let's Google this shit. The Dolan family holds controlling interests in both MSG and AMC networks. So James Dolan, so I guess AMC TNA, so that's partnered with WWE in a way. And so they don't like AEW and they have no interest in AEW. They're competing with AEW. People got mad that they went Thursday against AEW, TNA. Do you know what I'm saying? So see, Nicolo Piccolo, like he can just connect these dots because he knows these people, right? Without even having to do, like he just knows this while all the dirt sheets are playing catch up. So Dave Meltzer goes on to Cope and he goes, WWE has many times sold out MSG for TV setups less than 13,000. Less than 13,000 in attendance. But generally for TV, it's 13 to 14,000. Please don't argue attendance with me. Every MSG attendance since the 80s is in the Observer the week of the show. And then Nicolo Piccolo just fucking pretty well destroys Dave Meltzer here. What did this guy say? He goes, your math gets 2 stars for being shit. Just like most AEW matches, you give 5 to. So this guy says MSG holds 19,000 for wrestling. The Tennis Stadium 1,300. Try again. Think of it this way: if TK promises to pay a certain writer 19,000 for his integrity, then only paid 13,000, would those numbers be the same, or would said writer be short 6,000? Boom. And then Meltzer goes, WWE has sold out MSG many times. It's for TV, it's 13 to 14,000. So then Nicolo Piccolo just pones them. October 3rd, 2015, 20,200. December 26, 2021, 5,000 on the Holiday Tour house show. July 7, 2023, 13,000. December 26, and that was a house show too, I think. This was a house show in 2023, the December 26 Holiday Tour. So this is a house show too, if I'm not mistaken. Or did they go live, chat? I can't remember. That might have been right before they stopped going live like all the time on the holidays. But 15,800, buddy. Woo-wee! And Dave's saying for TV. Now, some of these are holidays. Some of these might, like in June, that's probably a TV. But again, Nick just pwned his ass. So June 28th, 17,800. December 26, 12,700. Again, here's all these dates just over the years. 18,200. So it's above 13 to 14,000, period. 18,000, 17,000. So he just pwned them with simple Googling and stuff that Dave doesn't do.
Baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
I think around Christmas, those are the house shows, but like all these June, March, July, are these all house shows? I doubt it. Dave is just a full-blown dumbass, narcissistic dumbass. Please don't argue attendance with me. Why? Because you'll get fucking smoked. You can and you will get touched. So Dave starts coping about like the media rights deal, pardon me. And again, he told so many lies on the newly lamented JF McMullen. Nick, I don't give a fuck. It's JF McMullen from now on. And that's the bottom line, because Phil Mark said so. It was funny. He's like, who the fuck is JF McMullen? That popped me. Anyways, though, Ringside Feed posts this clip, and Switchblade97, shout him out. He goes, Dave is right here because most people thought it was a 50-50 split, but Dave has been overestimating pay-per-view buys as well, so I guess that would balance it out, right? And so he's giving the benefit of the doubt, but also felting Dave. Like, and that's how you destroy Dave, because you go, okay, let me use your math. That's what Switchblade and other people have done. The guy with the pay-per-view percentages showing how they're an anomaly. You just use Dave's own math and then it fucking destroys him. And then he copes about Meltzer math, and people say Meltzer
Dave
math.
is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
So here is this clip from Ringside Feed and the Observer. AEW suing Triller for $5 million in unpaid revenue, but Dave Meltzer reveals the real story is how much they were actually making, with a 75% cut on domestic pay-per-views. Most industry analysts have been drastically underestimating their income. Now, here's my problem with this. $5 million over 7 years. So let's just do some quick math. Like, let's say, let me just type some shit in here. 100,000 times, like, what's an AEW pay-per-view cost? $50. Let's just like round down, right? And then Dave's saying that they're making like 100,000. They're doing 100,000 to 185,000 buys. And again, that's like, is that Amazon? Is that encompassing everything? You know, are we talking like they're doing 100,000 times 50? Would that be fair math? Like, I'm rounding way down. If we're believing Dave, then it's like 150,000 times 50, and it might even be more. Like, are they, to me, $5 million seems super low for the past 7 years. So is Triller giving them some money? I think Dave's wrong on this too. I think it's going to be revealed that Triller's giving them some money or they're not making a lot. $5 million over 7 years seems low as fuck to me, if that's all Triller owes them, or if it's like Triller was giving them a bunch of money but just still owes them $5 million. And there's just like $5 million that they're like, oh, we need to get that because that's a good chunk of change right now and we could use it. And then like they were actually getting paid a shitload. Is that what Dave's insinuating with this? I'm curious because to me, $5 million seems low over 7 years. It's like, that's it. And it's especially low if Triller has not been paying them like at all. Like if this is the majority of the money, and again, this lawsuit will expose all of that and it'll be interesting. But Dave's already like, oh, they're making way more than people thought. Just don't believe it. I need to see it. And if I'm proven wrong with this when all of the court filings come out, okay, fine. That's fine by me. But right now, dude, I don't know. To me, $5 million seems like not a lot of money over 7 years. That's less than $1 million per year they owe them. And apparently they haven't been giving people like most of the money. So if that's most of the money that they owe AEW, to me, like, you guys get what I'm saying? Like if they've only made $5 million through Triller, then that seems low. No? Am I off on that? That seems crazy to me. Let's play this fucking clip.
Oh, that's the deal.
AEW has filed a lawsuit against Triller as well as its parent company, claiming that Triller Group Incorporated owes them $5 million.
Yeah, just under $5 million for underpayment.
Payments.
Yeah.
For underpayment. So Dave said underpayment.
Payments.
Yeah, for underpayments. And it's also interest on those payments because
so underpayment and interest
contract, the contract allowed them to make payments. They don't have to pay like everything that they owe all at once, but the payments have a 2% interest per month. So it includes interest, but that's the $5 million is largely significant money that they are still owed for both Triller Plus, which is the streaming service, and the pay-per-views. Because Triller did pay-per-views for them for a while all over the world. At first, it was only the overseas shows. Then they allowed them to do U.S. shows, and then things. Once they got, it's
so according to Yahoo Sports, AEW operated under a revenue split, keeping 75% of net revenue from domestic sales and 65% from international sales. Okay. So, but they did operate under a 50-50 split in the early years. AEW Plus, AEW received 60% of the net revenue. Triller retained 40%. Unpaid royalties. So how much of the $5 million? Okay, let's dive deeper in AI mode. Thank you, Google. So how much of the $5 million? How do I ask AI this question here, chat? How much of the $5 million was like, because they're allowed to do it in payments, right? So even though it's like a 75% split, so it's a 75% split, but Triller didn't have to pay the whole 75% of the split up front. They could do it in payments, right? With a 2% interest. So I'm curious, and I don't know if this is public yet, but how much of the $5 million or of the 75%, let's say, were they giving them? I guess it's hard to break it down because they were doing 50%, and then through my AEW, it's 65, whatever 35. So I guess there's probably no answer to this question, but what I'm really curious is what I'm curious about is how much of the 75%, let's say, or the 50% or the 65% were they fucking paying? Or were they not paying if they could do it in installments? Do you know what I'm saying, chat? That's the real crux of it, because that 5 million's like, it'll be really telling. Because if they weren't giving AEW shit, if they were giving them like 70%, but keeping like 5% to and then they would pay the 5% or like 10% in installments, okay, I'll shut the fuck up. That's not a big deal. Even though that's not a lot of money, only 5 million. For if we're to believe what these fucking numbers are that Dave's always talking about, that they're doing, especially for pay-per-view sales. But if they were giving them like, oh, we're only giving them 10% and then paying installments on the other 65% we owe them or whatever, like that would be crazy bad that it's only 5 million. You guys get what I'm saying? This will all come out as the lawsuit continues, and that's what I'm fascinated by. We need to get to the bottom of that.
It's been well known for a while that the company is in major financial problems. I mean, that's not a secret.
Yeah, Lex, I'm sure you have some insider
I don't
info.
know.
Okay, moving along.
And they've been, owed money to a lot of companies. And AEW is, the largest, because about 20.
So I've heard conspiracies that what AEW is trying to do here is they're going to sue Triller. It's going to work them into a position to like buy Triller out, because Triller TV is suing Triller. So Tone will buy Triller out, or whatever, his company, and then they will own all of like the data, if you will, of Triller subscribers, and then they can like move them into my AEW subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Like they can keep the database and the foundation, like the people and the names and all of that, and then they can promote them my AEW and then run Triller, but it's like a my AEW thing. There's conspiracy theories floating around.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Tone's going to try and do, and that's why he started this lawsuit.
4% of all.
More than just like, we need the $5 million, right? Because if he needed the $5 million that bad, he'd just fucking let John Moxley go, or one of these guys. He let fucking Ospreay go. He ain't drawing a nickel.
Their revenue came from AEW pay-per-views and AEW, the AEW Plus streaming service. So, the thing, I mean, obviously, and we've talked about this before, but the My AEW was created because they were behind in money from Triller, and they were just looking to take the whole thing in-house rather than, be so far behind, be owed money, and they don't have to worry about it if it's their own thing.
So hold on. Hold on. So Dave talks to Tone, but I think Dave is revealing a little bit more. The best guy's Tony Khan. He should be here because he's like, oh, then having so much owed. Okay, so if we're talking about 75% brought in, and we're talking fucking, let's say one of their pay-per-views does 100,000 buys. Make sure I have the right amount of zeros there. Times, let's say $50 even. That's like fucking, we're talking millions of dollars, no? Like, what are we doing here? So what the fuck is going on to where it's only 5 million? Because you've done how many pay-per-views with them? So Dave's going to try and spin it like it's so much money. And 5 million, yeah, for the average guy, you give me 5 million, I'd never talk about AEW again. But it's just like, how is that the only amount that's owed? And like, fuck that conspiracy I was talking about. That's just what people, like, I've seen online and stuff. People are throwing that out there. But Dave's like so far behind on the payments. It's like, dude, if it's a 75% split, and let's say Triller was giving them the 70%, and they must have not been making a lot of money, is the point I'm getting at on these pay-per-views. I think Dave's been lying about the sales. He's trying to make this sound bigger than it is, because it's like, if they're making this kind of money through Triller, if they're doing, how many buys are they allegedly doing through Triller to where Dave comes and goes, oh, they sold 185,000 pay-per-views. That's what he tried to say about a pay-per-view like 1 or 2 pay-per-views ago. Anywhere from 145 to 185,000. okay, so Triller could pay AEW back after the next pay-per-view then if 50,000 people bought the pay-per-view through Triller for the $50 or whatever. No, like they could just pay them back right there. On the next show, if it's only 5 million, if it's under 5 million, right? So I just, or like they could pay it back in 2 pay-per-views. So what are they worried about? Well, the parent company's taking the money and reinvesting it. So then Triller TV can't give more money to AEW than there. But then why would the parent company shortchange AEW if it was only that much money? And they're bringing in all this money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I get these underling feds, like the Arrival Wrestling or Wrestling Arrival came in chat and he's like, yeah, they owe us $5,000 or whatever. It's like, all right, I could see them just fucking shortchanging like indie feds, which is bullshit. They're the ones who need it the most. But to me, this just seems incredibly low numbers. I think it's going to come out that Dave looks like a dumbass with these low fucking pay-per-view numbers, but he's going to try and spin it like they're making way more money because the deal's 75%. Yeah, okay. So how much are they bringing in every fucking pay-per-view? So the numbers got to be way lower than you're pretending they are. Because then what are they making from Amazon and shit? If Amazon did an extra 30% buys, that's so many buys, dude. There's fucking people who do pay, like Ring of Honor will be lucky if they do like the 30% you're claiming Amazon does for AEW, you know? It's just crazy to me.
Or interesting is that
this whole shit doesn't make sense. I'm too fucking stupid. Maybe I'll get Nick on to try and make sense of all this shit again, guys.
Originally, pay-per-views would be,
and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone's like, no, Phil, it's actually a shitload of money and the 5 million's a lot for, and I'm talking relatively, right? 5 million, of course, a lot of fucking money. I'm talking like relative to Tone and Triller and what Dave says the pay-per-view buys are. And again, that's what, thank you, Switchblade, because Switchblade pointed this out too, right? He's like, well, they say it's a 50-50 early on, but Dave's been overestimating the fucking buys. So maybe that's what balances this all out. Anyway,
a lot of times when you try to like calculate how much money AEW is making from pay-per-view, the calculations actually are low because almost everyone calculates based on 50%. And I don't know what their other deals are. I mean, I kind of do, but not exactly. But
well, so, okay. Yeah. So Dave's like, they're low because people calculate based on 50-50 split when really it's more in other avenues. In other avenues, mind you, where they get way less buys more than likely. However, Dave inflates the numbers though. So it's like in his mind, they're probably low. Like he's trying to say they're making even more money than he's made up by the buys already. And then the attendances, they're struggling to do 2,000 and shit. It's fucking nutty, man. Dave is just a fucking nut job, man.
75% domestic. And granted,
spiraling, buddy.
One of their main domestic things. For a long time, it was their only international thing. I mean, obviously that in the recent years that's changed. They've added, they've been on and off on DAZN. They've had pay-per-view.com. They've had YouTube and all this. So, and
Dave always puts over the international for AEW, but he never talks about the international. Raw being number one in a bunch of countries and shit outside of like when it comes to WWE and Netflix outside of the US, they
have many different outlets for their pay-per-view now.
Or like he'll look at SmackDown and be like, oh, the rating was terrible. But then he doesn't factor in like, well, internationally, it's, SmackDown was number one for like 2 days in Canada or whatever the fuck, on Netflix.
So anyway, yeah, they're $5 million behind, filed suit. Kind of been known that it was probably going to have to come to that. So,
and chat saying fucking AEW pay-per-views totaled 6 million total on Triller in 25. That was a quarter of Triller's total revenue. Holy shit, man. The whole year, 6 million? That's dog shit.
Poor people don't like AEW.
And maybe it's and then think about if I'm right and then WBD takes a cut of whatever AEW does. So whatever AEW brings in, WBD owns their 5 to 25%, but then they go, okay, and we take 10 flat houses, pay-per-view from every platform. maybe even merch, because it's all mostly just AEW merch. We get our 10%. Let's say that comes out and we find out that's what WBD's been doing, and that's why they're happy to facilitate AEW the way they have. Ooh. And then how much did it cost Tone to license NFL for the AEW Lucha masks and stuff? That cost a pretty penny. So is Triller just paying for that? So the $5 million is like, oh man, I just think it's so low. It's way lower than Dave's making it out to be, and he's coping.
Now it's official, I guess.
Now it's official that I was right while I look down, because I don't even make sense if you have half a fucking brain cell left in your head. So Dave moves along here with his cope and his seethe. With his cope and his seethe and his cope and his seethe. So Dave has this to say. One person in WWE, and this is the story he ran with that then gave Tony Khan the okay to talk about this at the Ring of Honor media call, or not even the media call, the press scrum. So Niccolo Piccolo, he who shall not be named, fucking Lord Voldemort of the IWC, Niccolo Piccolo, right? Or at least in the AEW sickosphere. He who shall not be named, friend of the show, he has been calling out Dave, calling out Tone. Tone's trying to get him fired from Paradigm. They can't talk about him because then it will come to light that Tone tried to get him fired, which he did do. And it came to light anyways. And then Dave won't respond to this fucking guy. And Dave went on his message board and said, and I know, well, whatever, I'm saying it because I saw it. Dave went on his message board and said, we can't talk about this guy. We covered it on PWT. It exists on the internet. Okay. It exists on one of these live shows. Dave was like, this is Nicola. He's real. He's a real guy and we can't talk about him or whatever the fuck. He said something along those lines. Okay. On his message board. So Dave just ignores Nick. He won't talk about him. Dave has a whole ninny poo, spurg out, meltdown, crybaby cope session over, and then lying on Jay McMullen and that whole fucking article that was written, and lying about what Nick said as well. He was fucking lying. He was putting words in mouths. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes in life, you gotta be a hoe.
So we chronicle all of that, right? So then Dave comes out with this story and goes, someone in WWE noted that word is spread across the industry that, AEW won't be with Paramount, blah, blah, blah. And then that gave Tone the ability to then be asked about it and speak about it without having to talk about Niccolo Piccolo, circumventing Niccolo Piccolo. Do you guys know what I'm saying? And Fightful didn't talk about what Nick was saying until Dave comes out with this phony story, and then Fightful signal boosts it. You guys know what I'm saying? So, again, we see this time and time. Is it a coincidence that when Ricochet says the dumb shit, there's no outrage until he apologizes, then everyone writes the story? Is it a coincidence that Niccolo Piccolo says some shit, nobody writes about it until all of a sudden someone in WWE said some shit, then everyone can signal boost and write their fucking version of the story? It's not a coincidence, guys. Like, this is hardly conspiratorial. This is just use your fucking common sense, and you can see what's going on with all of this and how these dirt sheets operate and how Tone has co-opted them. Okay? To some degree, and I believe it's largely based on access. Now, I've told you this. I've had AEW wrestlers in my DM going, what access? And it's like, well, the fucking interviews they get, the fucking, these people are the markiest of the marks. They're bigger marks than Phil S. Marks.
You fucking mark!
Hey, that's a pretty big mark, dude. So Dave had this to say. That WWE noted word spread in the company among some, if not many. If not many. And it's like, why? Because Nick said some shit and they all have Twitter accounts, so they all fucking know. Like, Dave is just such a bozo that AEW won't be on Paramount Skydance when their current deal expires and questions if they can get a viable deal elsewhere. Dave Meltzer says, one person there noted that people at the highest levels are talking like AEW won't get another deal. And here's the thing, Dave. If they are, what are you going to do about it? Hey, Dave, Let's say they are. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to cope it away? How are you going to cope it away, Dave? Let's say they are talking about that. Then you should take that for what it's worth. You should actually listen to what they're saying because they would know. And because the people at the tippy top of WWE are fucking friends with Ari Emanuel and TKO, and they advise the Ellisons, and you're a dumb fuck. And they'll throw Jimmy Kimmel off the air, let alone fucking Mini Khan, the Kid Khan, Tony the Kid Khan, okay? Tone the Kid, Steamboat Tone. So Dave Meltzer says one person there noted that people at the highest levels are talking like AEW will get another deal, Brian. But those kind of stories spread previously at last negotiations. No, last negotiations, Dave, those stories didn't spread. It was a bunch of people online talking shit, and a bunch of people, even myself, the people you would call fraudcasters, they knew AEW would get a TV deal. They didn't think it would be as significant as it was. So there's egg on the head for that. However, it wasn't as significant as it was made out to be by the likes of you either. So it's egg on your face too, because it wasn't even upwards 185 million. It wasn't even upwards 165 because it wasn't even all cash. And you lied and said it was all cash. So Dave is coping about Twitter arguments he had with fucking wackos in the comments because he's a baby. Know that not that they wouldn't get a deal, but that their deal would be at the same level or perhaps lower level than the prior deal. Instead, they had a 2.3% times increase, Brian. Which is fair, but there's actually, again, no monetary proof of that whatsoever. Because all we got was a figure that said upwards 165 to 185, and anybody who's anybody in the industry knows that it wasn't entirely a deal done in cash. And even if you're in the pro wrestling industry now, Niccolo Piccolo's said it's not a deal done in cash. Okay, well, before that, Husey comes on this fucking show. Allegedly. PWT as well. And he goes, even the fucking wrestlers, like rumors going around here, around this way, are that Tone foots the bill for a bunch of shit. And it's not, the deal isn't as much as is floating around out there, and Tone knows that, and every serious person knows that. Husey was saying that forever too. So this is what I mean. Anybody in the periphery of the wrestling business or fucking TV, media rights, whatever, understood this other than Dave. And he's still bragging about a 2.3 times increase. When, by the way, their business was doing way better. And you can look at, look at the live gates. Who does that benefit? Unless WBD's pulling off the top, like I said. And they must be. Because why the fuck else would that matter to them? Why else would that matter to them if they weren't getting a cut of everything? Well, they own a small stake. Okay. That's great. But out of that small stake, what are they making every year when AEW's hemorrhaging money? Unless Tone is like paying for shit, or they say, or they have some deal worked out where they need to make a certain amount. And if they don't make a certain amount, then Tone has to reimburse the rest or something. There's some weird wonky shit with WBD in place. And Paramount's going to see that and go, this is fucking retarded and we're not doing this. And this isn't worth that to us. Okay? So, Dave is just coping. What can I say? So we move along here. And Drainmaker posts this. People within WWE have been questioning if AEW will be able to get a viable deal elsewhere once their current contract expires. And then the Observer adds that those kinds of stories spread previously at the last negotiations. Okay, so we covered this. Of course, you want to spread that uncertainty to keep talent from thinking about going to AEW. No, Dave, that's what you're worried about because you're coping.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Dave, you're worried about that. Because you want wrestlers to go to AEW, and I thought the Fed stinks. So why do you want all of their wrestlers to go to AEW all the time anyways? You fucking sickos. I thought they all suck. Oh, Bailey really likes, Bailey really likes Fletcher and Mina Shirakawa? Oh, you mean the chick who got over by fucking hugging people and is the most WWE gimmick ever and one of the most WWE style wrestlers ever? But you guys love that she likes your fucking sicko wrestlers? For some reason, because you only find validation through the Fed, because that's how pro wrestling is, because that's what pro wrestling is. You find the Fed is the end all be all. at the end of the fucking day. And if you don't think that's right, then you're just you're mental. It's the cream of the crop at the end of the day. Well, it's not the end all be all as far as like fulfillment or getting paid. But what Dave's worrying about isn't true. Oh, they don't want people to go there. No, Dave. If I was New Day, I'd go there, take $3 million a piece, guaranteed, sign it with Tone's dad's company, so that if they don't get a TV deal, then I get paid anyways. You mean people don't want to go do that? Or are you just a dumbass idiot and you always want to talk about the boys getting paid and they're getting paid more? So you think they're so dumb that you think these wrestlers are so dumb, Dave, that they're not 10 steps ahead of you in that regard? Or that if I can't figure that shit out, that they wouldn't think of that or figure that shit out? You're cooked, buddy. So Dave lies and says another person in WWE noted to us this week that they have definitely spread word in the company among some, if not many, that AEW won't be on Paramount. So now it's big, bad, evil Fed is doom mongering and fear mongering and doom maxing so that the wrestlers think that there won't be television and then they won't go to AEW where it's real graps, even though we hate the Fed and all of their slop and it's for babies and it's garbage. And so for some reason we want to be all ex WWE though at the same time. And he thinks that WWE's spreading around instead of it being Nicolo Piccolo said this shit. And he represents people in WWE. And so they're talking about it. He makes up a lie and is a little ninny and is coping. And he says that fucking WWE spreading it around so the boys in the back don't go and sign anywhere else. Putting it in there, even though it doesn't matter if they're on YouTube, the wrestlers know that Tone will pay them millions to go there because he's a fucking money mark.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
It's always blame the Fed. So we covered the interest payments and we covered all of those numbers, and it's an absolute mess, as that buddy down there pointed out. And Dave Meltzer, man, he also is being called out because some people are like, are the 80,000 buys? Is 80,000 inflated or whatever the fuck? Like, people are pulling numbers out of their ass. I don't know. I want to talk specifically about that with Nicolo Piccolo next time I get him on the show. He asked me when I want to do it next. And so I'll set that up for you guys because I know you guys really enjoyed it. So we have MVP MMA on right now. And what's chat saying? Whatever Dave Meltzer said about WWE is supposed to be worried about AEW being gone. Dave is a twat. Look at how yep, AEW fans and wrestlers don't care about AEW, they care about WWE. WBD knew they were going to sell years ago and took steps to puff themselves up before it became public. Exactly, dude. You have to know that if this new deal made AEW profitable, Tony would be yelling it. Yeah, exactly. And we covered it on the show. He said that he hopes to make money, hopefully make money. It was like a Freudian slip, right? So let's get into now. Dave Meltzer copes and seethes about WWE, ladies and germs. So Meltzer said what the GOAT quote tweets this story of Asuka leaving, or Io Sky talking about Asuka leaving WWE for the time being. And Meltzer said, what says, after stating that Asuka was semi-retired, Dave did his usual, I knew this all along, revisionist history bullshit. Bryan was having none of it and called Meltzer out for never mentioning it until now. Dave's reason is the lamest, fakest excuse ever. He's lying. He's coping. They're getting a divorce. Liar! Bryan's fed up. He's tired. They're fighting again. The honeymoon's over. Let's take a listen.
Wow, that was very decisive. Like, that was kind of interesting. And then all of a sudden,
Well, the thing is if you remember the interview on Monday, Asuka said, like, this is it. It's one and done. She absolutely said that. She goes, we're going to wrestle. We're going to wrestle, and this is our only match. So they did tell you it's the only match. So Io kind of had to win.
Well, I mean, if it actually is, but I mean, in a promo, you can presume that, like, Asuka's, I'm going to finish you off here. It's all done.
No. It was said in a way. This is our only match. I mean, it was very clear. This is our only match.
Oh my God, Dave, shut the fuck up, man. See, it's just flip-flopping. I'm always right. And then if you question him, if you pull out the quote of him being wrong, or like where he said some different shit, he'll go, you have to study and learn. You didn't, like, you listen to the latest Observer Radio. I spoke about this. Even though he's just making it up.
Why didn't you mention that on the Raw report that it was the only match?
Because I thought you would.
Go.
Because I thought you would. Oh, shit.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
I thought you would. Well, you were supposed to do it. You were supposed to telepathically read my mind, and then
Get out of here.
She said it. She said it. It was very clear. It was very.
Brian's fed up. Fuck. Earlier, he's like, oh, God, when Dave's doing his thing. Now he's like, get out of here, Dave. He's pissed. He's moving out. He's going to the pool house. He's sleeping on the couch.
Very clear. This is the only match.
So they do this finish.
Watch the promo again.
I believe you, but geez, yeah, he'll say that shit all the time. This is it. I'm going to finish you off.
Yeah, right, Brian. That's why Brian's a cuck, too. I believe you, but, well, no, you don't. That's why you're fucking outraged by this outrageous shit.
She didn't say it like that. She didn't say it like that. It was very clear. It was very clear it was not a heel thing. When she said it, it was like, oh, they're going to do a one-match series. She goes, this is it. One match. She was very clear.
So after the match, Asuka gets to her feet. Io bows to her. Asuka then breaks into tears. She's crying her head off. Hugs her forever, won't let go. And then the crowd's cheering, and, she's still hugging, and you're thinking, is she going to miss her? What's going to happen here? Nope. They left. Mm-hmm. And that was the end.
Mister, I thought she was abroad. Oh, go.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm going to miss Asuka.
I wonder if she was one of those people that was cut. I mean, I don't know.
And then it's the dog whistle. I wonder if she was one of the people who got cut. I mean, I don't know, but I wonder if she was, even though I pretend that I know everything. And I said she was semi-retired, and now I'm walking it back, and now I'm pretending she could have been cut, even though I said she was semi-retired, Brian. Who knows? It's a mystery.
Can't fathom that, but I guess it's possible. But I mean, Kyrie was cut, and she didn't even get used to the end of this thing, so...
yeah, but they had to do this match. They couldn't just not do the match after months of build. They had to do the match.
Listen to these two stupid idiots, man. It's like, yeah, dummies.
Stupid idiot.
They did this match, and Kyrie just left as well because they knew Asuka was going before they let on. It's not like everything happens in order. It's not like fucking Kyrie gets cut, then out of nowhere Asuka goes, oh, and I have to leave too. It's fucking, they go, okay, Asuka's leaving for whatever the fuck. She has the match with Io. We just got to move Io on. And these budget cuts, we're going to cut Kyrie because Asuka's got to go anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you that's the fucking series of events here. In hindsight now, it's like, oh, they might have known Asuka was leaving. And then that's why they made the decision, well, we'll just cut Kyrie because it's like Asuka's going to leave too. And then what's the pay? We have Io keep going with Kyrie, or, Io's going to move on to do this other plan we have in store for her. And we can't even finish this story the way we wanted to anyways because of the Asuka situation. So fuck it. Like, it seems more like that's what would have happened. But again, it's Dave wants to throw conspiracies.
No matter what.
She was cut, so they let her come on Raw and fucking carry her suitcase out and do a hug and say her goodbyes. But Kyrie just has to dip the fuck out and gets banished to the Shadow Realm. What are you, stupid?
I don't know. That sucks, though. Asuka was great.
Yeah, so Bry is just getting tired. Tired, Brian. I feel bad for him a little bit. Dave talks about this Asuka stuff, I think, a little bit more. No, he doesn't actually, but he does talk about Backlash overall, where Asuka wrestled Io Sky. So let's take
Did feel bogged down like Wrestle.
What did you think of this pay-per-view?
I thought it was good overall. Not too many commercials. It did feel bogged down like WrestleMania. Thought the main event was pretty great. Really, most of the show was good. I mean, the Danhausen match was comedy. But I mean, at least the partner, I mean, they brought in Masquerade, the second Masquerade Sagrada as Mini Danhausen, and he's great. So livened up that match. It was fine for what it was. I mean, it's not your cup of tea. I mean, I could see people.
It's crazy because he does this thing where Dave Meltzer. So he's like, they brought in the second Masquerita Sagrada. And like, that's El Torito, I believe, right? The mini they used in that match is El Torito. Is how most people would know him. If you Google that guy, El Torito comes up. Dave Meltzer, when it comes to like Daniel Bryan, he's Bryan Danielson, but he's more famous as Daniel Bryan, but Dave doesn't go Daniel Bryan. Like he would just call him Bryan Danielson. Like it's so cringe. Also how he flip-flops and picks and chooses whose slave name to use.
People hating it for sure. But
he had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
I wouldn't say except for anything. I thought everything was good. I thought that the first match, Asuka's match, and Roman Reigns' match were all really, really good. So, thought it was a good show. I guess Asuka is. So the story I heard is that she is semi-retired. I haven't really gotten an exact.
So this was before that clip we just listened to. So he's like, she's semi-retired. I haven't gotten an exact anything. Then he's talking to Brian, gaslighting him, going, well, it was super obvious. I thought you would have brought it up. That's why I didn't bring it up. Fucking crazy.
Meaning of what semi-retired means, but I guess people were wishing her goodbye and things like that backstage.
It's like the time fucking Brendan Schaub predicted that Paulie Malignaggi was going to win a bare knuckle boxing match on his Big Brown Breakdown show or whatever the fuck, right? He predicted that. And then he went on Luke Thomas's actual reputable MMA show after the fight. And then he gaslit the Morning Combat audience, or maybe it was just Luke Thomas's audience, but he was like, this is literally what he said. He's like, yeah, I texted you that I changed my pick and I thought Paulie Malignaggi. It didn't send though. I can screen grab that and show it to you. It's like, what? Just say who you picked and you picked wrong. Dave does the same thing. It's lolcow behavior. That's the point I'm getting at. Dave Meltzer's sitting there going, oh, yeah, trying to gaslight his co-host. Just so disrespectful. Oh, everybody knew it. Meanwhile, here he's like, I didn't get an exact thing. And he didn't follow this up by going, oh, we knew that she's actually not semi-retired.
What did you think of this pay-per-view?
Or like that it was just a one and done or whatever the fuck, man. He's always so full of shit. So speaking of being full of shit, John Cena. No, I'm joking. That's my guy, Matt Morgan's like, oh, he's just so full of shit, dude. He's full of shit, dude. But the John Cena Classic, okay, was announced at Backlash as well. Speaking of Backlash, okay, John Cena announces the John Cena Classic, the John Continental Classic, as chat dubbed it. And it's where wins and losses don't matter. And so Dave Meltzer and Bry, of course, are going to be faux outraged because wins and losses don't matter really in any fucking wrestling. If they did, AEW would be like, this is why wins and losses matter. because then you don't get into arguments like Bryan and Dave got into about Ospreay versus Ace Austin, for instance. Like, it should just be Ospreay beats this guy handily on fucking television, okay? That's why wins matter in many ways, losses matter in many ways, right? Like, you can lose a match like Austin versus fucking Bret Hart, but it like gets you over the way you lost and shit. So wins and losses do matter, but they don't matter in wrestling in two ways these days. These are the two criticisms. So in AEW, nothing matters because, again, Dave even said it doesn't matter. Oh, he just helped Ace Austin out, made him look good. No, it does nothing for either of these guys. But then they also don't matter sometimes because WWE does this 50-50 booking shit. Now, they've done less of that since Triple H has had control. They've done less. Like, there's guys who just fucking lose, and you're like, oh, they just lose. And then there's guys who win, and you go, whoa, they just win. And then, obviously, you balance it out. Seth Rollins can take a couple L's, and then, he'll get a W here or there, whatever. The point I'm getting at is wins and losses do matter. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. But when Dave Meltzer was talking about, when he talks about Ace Austin and Ospreay, or, and I know that conversation between them was more about like how quickly Ospreay should have beaten his ass. But other matches, when it comes to AEW, he just goes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it's just a minute detail like this. Meanwhile, and wins and losses don't matter in AEW, and we know that because Tone literally brought records and tried to do these fucking power rankings, and then he had to abandon it multiple times because they don't matter in AEW. But again, he just goes, it doesn't matter when it comes to AEW. But for WWE, these two give a fuck, and it's such a big deal. And see, wins and losses don't matter in WWE and shit. It's so corny. They do this shit over and over again. We call it out time and time again. Here is more of their bullshit. Phony baloney bullshit.
He says tonight,
flip-floppy, good for me, not for thee bullshit.
I'm going to announce the John Cena Classic. For the first time in history, your voice will be heard louder than ever before because the fans will vote to crown the champion of the John Cena Classic. Everybody.
So this is where WWE fucked up, and maybe they can adjust this. So what you do is whoever wins the tournament, and they win the John Cena Classic. And then you have a fan vote you have fans vote who is the fan vote favorite of the tournament. And then that's who fights the tournament winner. Winner gets a number one contender shot. Or the fan vote. I think that's the way you do it. Winner gets a number one at the title. Or they just get a shot at each other. They fight each other at the next pay-per-view in a match, even though it doesn't mean you lose your John Cena championship or whatever the fuck. That's the way you do it. You crown the tournament winner a champion, then you let the fans vote who they want to see, get a shot at the fucking tournament winner, and then whoever wins that gets the accolades or gets to pick their spot in the Royal Rumble, or gets a guaranteed spot in Money in the Bank, or just that's the end of it, or is automatically a number one contender for a title of their choosing, or just the world title, or the title on their show, or the IC title, or the US title, right? There's many different ways you could go with that. But hopefully, this is what I hope for, that the tournament winner doesn't defend the Cena title. I just want to have a tournament winner, and then it is kind of dumb that the fans are voting, but we have to see it play out. Now, hopefully WWE is listening, Trips. Hopefully you're listening to your boy Phil S. Marks, and you fucking book it the way I just said, where the fans vote for the other winner, and then that guy doesn't get a trophy or whatever. He doesn't win the tournament, quote unquote, but he gets a shot at the guy who did win the tournament, because maybe it's a rematch of a match that was a banger, guys we want to see fight again. Or maybe it was two guys who everyone wanted to see, but we didn't get to see. Or maybe somebody gets a Kofi Mania run, they steal the show, they get eliminated in the semifinal, and then we want to see them go against they lost to the guy that whoever won the finals beat, but we want to see that. You know what I'm saying? There's many cool avenues to go with that. So that's the approach they should go with. But for Bry and Dave to feign outrage, to foe their fucking outrage here over this, over wins and losses, pisses me off, man, because they don't matter in AEW either. For instance, MJF, he fucking goes to HOG Wrestling and defends the AEW title when there's a whole locker room of guys with wins. And then meanwhile, you have Andrade fighting Kenny Omega for a shot at the fucking belt, but he'll go defend it on an indie at Rev Pro. Right? So that's why they don't matter. People walk in and get title shots who weren't in the company or who fucking are just like an underling, like randomly a jobber will get a shot at the fucking TBS title, or Queen Aminata will show up, lose in a number one contenders match so that Tekla can get a shot at the title or whatever. Like, we've seen the same thing a billion times. It doesn't matter. And I give Bryan props earlier for arguing against Dave for trying to shit on, or for trying to dismiss rather minute things. But then here Bryan needs to call Dave out and go, well, then why do you get fixated on minute things when it comes to WWE, but you don't do it the other way around, right? And that's why Bryan's a cuck, because he won't call that out. He just mumbles under his breath like a disgruntled wife. Oh, my God.
He must qualify. But even if you lose, you can still be voted the winner.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The fans vote. The fans vote on who advances.
What?
That's what the
No, you stupid motherfuckers. That's not what it is. The fans vote on who advances. Is that actually what it is? If that's what it is, then I'm a stupid idiot. But what I thought it was
Stupid idiot.
It's a regular tournament. The wrestlers wrestle. The winners move on, but then the fans vote who the winner is in the end. So, like, you could have 3 matches get eliminated in the semifinals, but then the fans vote that you are the fan favorite. Am I wrong on that? If it's you wrestle a match, you get the 1, 2, 3, but then the fans vote on who they want to advance. That's
retard alert.
That's
Retard
stupid.
alert, class.
If that's what WWE's doing, that's pretty fucking stupid too. But again, I have to see it play out. I can't boo-boo. When WWE goes, hey, we're making the fucking canvas blue and we're putting logos on it, I got to see it before I got to try it out for a couple weeks before I can really knock it. You know? It's like with the show Wonder Man. I saw the trailers for it. I was like, who asked for this? This is going to be shitty. This is going to be the shits. The show is fucking phenomenal. You're like, oh my God, this show's so good. It's that sort of thing. You can't knock it till you try it, you know?
What the fuck's going on? So you and I have a match.
I could beat you, and then
but they like me more, so I go on after you win?
Yeah.
That's funny because Bry's this outraged, and then he's about to admit that, well, he claims nobody even knows what they're doing with this tournament. WWE doesn't even know what they're doing with this tournament.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, that's made very clear. This is the first time I've heard this one. There've been people talking about this kind of a thing for like 15 years. You know, it's just no one ever actually went with it. You know, it was like I
wonder why. This is the ultimate in wins and losses don't matter.
More than that, isn't it? Well, I mean, they've been going in that direction for years anyway. But this is the ultimate that the finish means nothing. And, you know, I mean, you know, they kind of did that with years and years ago, if you remember, with Tough Enough, where the fans would vote. And, you know, even no matter what happened, you know, if you won or lost, the fans would vote. I'm sure that they
with Tough Enough. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. No matter what happened, Dave, they were training wrestlers. They didn't have matches. There was like a couple years where like, oh, they wrestled each other. They had to wrestle like Alicia Fox, and then the fans vote through. It doesn't matter who wins the match. Well, yeah, no shit, because someone has to win and lose. We're voting based on their fucking skills or whatever. This is what Dave's star rating is. You think he'd love this because he could go and be like, oh, no, I mean, this person's skills are way better, even though they lost 5 stars. Man, this is just, these guys are too cooked and fried right now. And Tough Enough is like, fully acknowledging people are training how to be wrestler actors, and it's who advances based on like promos and everything and look and skill in the ring. Like, it's not a shoot, guys. It's not a shoot. This is going back to wins and losses don't matter. Okay, but they do matter, asshole, because Gunther beat Seth and he wouldn't be able to challenge Rhodes or have gotten this deal with SmackDown if he didn't beat Seth and shit. They do matter. They literally have had full-blown I'll retire if I lose matches recently in WWE. And Jacob Fatu had to get wins to be able to call out Roman. And they do fucking matter. You guys are stuck in the past and think it's some 50-50 booking bullshit like Vince was still running things.
We'll have it all booked and laid out ahead of time.
Yeah, but what does it matter if the fans vote? What difference does it make? Because whatever you book, the fans can just vote someone else in.
Exactly.
So what's the point of even booking?
Because they think they can control the fans.
Because they think they can control the fans. Oh my fucking God.
Whatever you book, the fans can just vote someone else in.
Exactly.
So what's the point of even booking?
Because they think they can control the fans.
Or do you think it's because they know that they can't control the fans anymore because of social media, and so they are going to give fans enough control over something meaningful to where they might lighten up on some of the other things, being so fickle about some of the other things, and you're too much of an old, dumb fuck to realize that. What do you think, Dave? Are you just real fucking dumb and sad?
For, the young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So
what do you think? It's crazy to me. It's fucking nutty to me.
I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, I don't know. It could totally end up working really well at the same time, too. And I think it's just a way to give fans enough control over stuff to where they won't complain over stuff that they don't have control over. Okay? And even with Taboo, what's to say that they don't get bot farmed out, too? What's to say that some sickos don't, bot farm the fucking and spam who wins shit to troll? Or just trolls who think it's funny? Who's to say that WWE don't just lie like they would do for Taboo Tuesday, allegedly? I don't know, man. We move along here, and Dave and Bry. So Bry then pops up the next day or later on the same show and goes, WWE has no idea what they're doing. Meanwhile, you, Brian, were just melting down because Dave was explaining to you what they're doing, and you were befuddled by it.
You gotta be a hoe.
You were baffled by it. So I think you just don't know what you're doing, buddy. I think they know what they're doing, and whether John explained it well or not, you don't know what they're doing, and so you're short little guy frustrated.
They have no idea what they're doing for this John Cena tournament. The only thing I know... And I think the only thing they know...
You know. So the only thing you know... I think the only thing they know... The only thing I know, and I think the only thing they know... Oh, so you're just a lying piece of shit? And you're just saying talking out of turn, and you don't know shit, and even Dave knew more about it than you and explained it to you? And you were like, what?
Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Is that... They're doing some John Cena tournament at some point, somewhere, and what it is, they don't know. How it's going to be, they don't know. You can, I don't want to say totally disregard everything that John Cena said in his promo, but I think you can pretty much disregard everything that guy said in his promo because they don't know what's going on. And John Cena himself, even on social media, kind of, suggested it's like a work in progress. We're going to see what happens. I mean, I don't know.
They want to just control the fans. Meanwhile, they're fucking laying in the cut, listening to fan reception, listening to pods like this one to see how they can tweak and adjust minor things before they actually pull it off and give fans actual control so that they go, damn, we controlled this whole thing. So nobody can get mad if they don't just rehire some guy for 4 years that they really shouldn't have in R-Truth or whatever the fuck, because we're crying about it. They're literally listening to us once a year. They fucking listen directly to us. And instead of them extrapolating that, Bry's like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. It's a whole car wreck. It's a car crash. And nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Or is it just you, Bry? Because you're short and confused and tired. You need sleep.
I'm not reporting this, okay? Because I actually don't know this. But, you know, they announced that John Cena had some earth-shattering announcement, okay? And I don't know this for sure, but it certainly seems to me like maybe they were going to just announce this club WWE, and then like they realized, well, the guy said we're shaking the foundations of WWE, and that's going to be kind of a letdown. So let's.
Are you fucking stupid? Do you even watch the shit, Bry? So they rolled out Club WWE without Cena, and then once they teased it a bunch. And then all the wrestlers are involved in that. Then they make Cena the main spokesperson and the voice of it. So that's a commercial. He also does fucking car commercials, buddy. That's like saying the fucking John Cena Classic is announced because the Club W. So they were going to announce Club WWE. No, stupid. They already did that. And then they are going to announce another thing because they want John Cena on fucking Backlash. And this is a real thing they want to do because they had so much success with that Saturday night main event. And what did it do? It made a bunch of people go, whoa, Javon Evans rules, Obafemi rules, Sol Ruca rules, Sol works as a top gal on the fucking roster, and she's over immediately. The crowd pops for her, and they see her, and they're like, oh shit, Sol rules, and she was in NXT before, and she gets paid a third of what the fuck Kairi Sane gets paid, and now we can get these young talents over, see who's working, see who's not, call some of them the fuck up, fire other people who were paying shitloads for, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you fucking stupid? It's so obvious what they're doing. They're developing talent. Thank them. Thank them that there will be a wrestling business for your fucking Mark ass to do run-ins WrestleMania weekend to super kick Sean Ross Sapp and barely reach his fucking nips. Okay? Thank God that there will be a wrestling business for you to go fucking be involved in, because WWE's training and putting focus and highlighting on kids who are going to be around for the next 15 fucking years. Instead of crying about everything and pretending like, oh, I don't know shit, so everybody doesn't know shit. I'm not reporting anything, but I think all they know is. Meanwhile, you're on the news. You're the news. Hey, you're the news. So you are reporting it, because whatever the fuck you're saying on this show, you wouldn't say it unless you were reporting it.
Let's think of something else real quick.
Fucking self-awareness here, man. Fucking shark-brained, dead behind the eyes monsters over there at the Observer.
And they sent this guy out there to talk about some John Cena tournament that they have no idea what they're doing, no idea what it is, no idea where it is, no idea what the rules are, no idea anything. And he just...
We have an idea. We literally have a fucking idea. We don't know the full scope. We don't know down to the nitty-gritty, the specifics. How many seconds do you get on the outside? Is it a 20 count? Is it fucking no rope break and shit? Yeah, we don't know the every minute detail, Brian. We know what it is, though. We don't know anything about it. He just went out there and did you not watch the show? So you didn't watch the show then, because he literally explained the fans vote, and then you were crying about it with Dave. So it's just like you're lying. Brian's a fucking lying Brian. He's a liar, dude.
Fumbled it out there. It's like something that would have happened in like.
And then the Observer marks who don't watch this shit because they're like suffering. Suffer sickos. They're suffering through fucking CMLL and shit at Dave's recommendation and watching AEW and shit per Dave's recommendation. And so they're not even watching this shit, and they just believe this and take it at face value. That short little guy, El Torito, mini house in height, face value.
WCW in like 1999. So anyway, there's no plans. We don't know what's going on. That's the update. Back in a moment with more.
There's no plans. We don't know what's going on. That's the update. 14.99. Liar! What a piece of shit, man. Ooh, I dislike Bryan. Bryan dislikes how Soul, we were talking about Soul, and he dislikes how she was being booked. Now, regardless of how she's being booked, and this is why you don't rush people to the main roster, Bryan, you condescending, silly little boy, right? This is why you don't rush it. But Bryan goes from crying about crying Bryan. Why don't they call people up and push them? And, we need to call people up, and that's why you push them. And now he's crying about them pushing Sol Ruca too quickly. And then people cope and sweep for Bryan, go, well, haven't you seen how they've been booking her? She slipped on a rope one time, and everyone's like, oh, my God, she's done. She's finished.
Emotional damage.
And now Bry's crying that they're pushing Sol too quick. So what is it, stupid? Do you want all the NXT people to get called up and pushed right away, like you were crying about 3 months ago? Or do you not want them to get called up and get pushed? So again, it's fake, faux, phony outrage that I've been calling out forever. Bryan's so fake with the NXT outrage. He doesn't believe anything
Just
you're
in,
saying.
we have confirmed
Negative
that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
I do not like what they're doing with Sol Ruca.
You're telling me?
Golly.
You're telling me, the number one WWE hater in the history of fucking mankind? Why else would Dave's answer be, you're telling me? Why? Why would that be your response? Because you're the fucking number one Fed hater, dude.
You know,
They have done so good with like everyone they've called up. Javon's, he's in main events, and Oba's obviously a top guy.
Javon's in the middle. He's just a guy in the middle.
Hey, he was in that
okay.
main. He was in that.
He's okay. Javon's okay. Dave, 3 months ago, talking about how Javon, it was probably less than that. He's talking about Javon could make 10 times what he makes. Remember that? He was talking about Javon and Kendal Gray. You could go there and Tony will pay you 10 times what you're making in fucking WWE. He's in the middle. He's okay now. Dave, and look at that fake, phony fucking look on his fucking face.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Ooh.
Big ladder match and almost won. I
Ooh,
mean,
buddy, I'm triggered today with these chuckle fucks.
that's way the hell more than Sol's done.
Yeah.
She's screwed up her finish. She got
Javon's in the middle. Okay, Oba and them. But like even Bryan said, oh, they did great with everyone. I don't know. Julia's not that fucking hitting either. Some of it's hit or miss. Like everyone's going to be hit or miss. Hobbs is being booked decently. The crowd's not reacting to him the way I thought they would have by now. Hopefully after that Gunther match. Ricky Saints, the crowd ain't reacting too hot to him yet either the last couple showings. But once he starts getting into his matches, they start biting. He's really winning people over with his match quality and his selling and stuff. It all depends, man. And look at the Motor City Machine Guns. They weren't getting over too much either, and they're veterans. They're not like new call-ups. Not everybody gets over. It's all different. Everybody's a unique case. So for either of these two assholes to blanket statement anyone and then go, this is why Soul's not good, is because it's all bad or it's all good. It's all mid or low and okay, or all the people they've called up have been great. Like either of these guys are saying. All it is trying to diminish Soul, to say that Soul's been shitty. Well, guess what? This is what you guys asked for. And it hasn't been that bad. Let's be honest. Okay?
beating her first night in, and she missed her.
She shouldn't be fucking losing, and then him going, and she missed her finisher. Look at Bryan. He's like one of those kids on the fucking playground. Just everything they say, you're like, okay, sure, bro. She missed her finisher. Yeah, buddy, that's a botch. So like they didn't book that. I don't like what WWE's doing with Sol Ruca on the main roster. Like what? She missed her finisher and slipped on the rope. Okay, well, that's on her. Otherwise, that whole thing was fine, except for she botched, and that happens. So what happened to Mike Bailey on Dynamite? Okay. Should they tell, but here's the difference. Is she a jobber? And should they tell her not to do the Soul Snatcher? And does she hit every Soul Snatcher ever? And did she recover really well from it? And you're focusing on the wrong part of this, showing her fucking poise actually at her age and where she's at in her career to fucking recover the way she did. Yeah, exactly. It's bullshit, man. Bryan's a piece of shit.
Finish and got pinned here.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Well, it's bad booking for sure. Like, especially for someone. But they're meant.
I agree, though. I don't want to see Soul losing and shit. I agree with that aspect of it. But it's not. Is it bad booking? So then, what is Tone's booking? So Tone's booking of Ospreay's whatever. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We've proved time and time again. So when someone botches, hasn't it been proved time and time again that? Hasn't it been proved time and time again too that you can also lose a match and then go on to be the greatest, one of the greatest? You can get WrestleMania built around you like Daniel Bryan after losing a bunch of matches and shit.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Time and time again, that's been proved. For Dave, he's like, oh, time and time again, we've proved that fucking taking Ospreay to the limit on TV for years, we've proved that doesn't matter. But then with this, it's bad booking. So it can't possibly be bad booking when it's Tone, but for something like this, it's bad booking because she's the new person, and that's how they traditionally do shit in WWE. It is. Even Ricky Saints lost, and I want to see him win, but it's like unless you're fucking Trick Willie and you catch fire immediately and you're just super over, they're not gonna fucking do that,
Mentality, and again, and this in this specific case, and it was wrong on the other one too. Their mentality is that if you remember, they do the interview.
You don't know their mentality. Your mentality
afterwards, and it's like, oh, you're a great up and comer, like with her and Io after the match, and she got endorsed by a real star. She got endorsed.
So that's how you defended Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was helping Ace Austin out by taking him, giving him a 15-minute match and then endorsing him. And Dave's literal words were, that's whatever. That's whatever. We've proved for years that doesn't matter. But then in WWE, he's coping about the endorsement.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Where the veteran beat the really good wrestler who does the flips and does a really good match that people aren't as familiar with and kind of takes Io to the limit, gives her a good showing. Oh, Io endorsed her, and that's the mentality there. But then when Ospreay wrestles Ace Austin and Bryan's like, what the fuck is this? And they go 15 minutes and Dave goes, yeah, but he did an armbar and we proved none of that matters. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see why I do this show? Dave's a fucking piece of shit.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
He's a hypocrite.
So therefore, it's like telling you that, like, someday she can be good.
Right. That's what Ospreay did by helping out. You were defending it. Oh, well, he helped out Ace Austin. And
the problem is that she's already good. And, she should have beaten Liv Morgan. When they announced this match, I was just like, it'd probably be a really great match. And it wasn't.
She should have beat Liv for the title? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Stupid idiot.
It was good. But I also thought, like, well, Io's going to beat her. So it's like, why are we doing this match if Io's going to beat her?
So then why did you do Will Ospreay versus Ace Austin if we knew Will was going to get the win? And then you tried to argue that it helped Ace Austin and it was Ospreay helping someone out. So could this not just be Io Sky helping someone out too, helping Solo? Or are you just picking and choosing what you fucking, whatever bullshit you want to peddle, what you fucking think about any given thing, depending on what company it is, because you're a fucking shill and you're felted and you're a den.
When she's just starting out with the company, I did think she was going to lose. I did not think she was going to miss her finish.
When she's just starting out with the company. So Sol Ruca been in NXT, in WWE for years at this point, and she's not just starting out with the company. You just literally invented something that's not true and just said it. like casually like that. Like that's like she hasn't been in the WWE company and wasn't in the Royal Rumble and shit. Whereas Ace Austin is literally new in the company. Literally new from TNA. I don't even think he's been signed a year yet. New in AEW. And with that match, a 1-to-1 comparison, it's just Ospreay helping someone out. Okay.
When I saw that, it was just like, come on. She's done this finish 3 times. Number 1, she did it on Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan rolled away and did not get pinned. Number 2, she does on Becky Lynch, and it just looks, it was bad. It was just a botch. Shit happens, it happened. Number 3, she flat misses it and falls on her face. It's like they are doing one hell of a job. I mean, it's one of the coolest moves in the entire company, and boy, are they doing a great job of getting it over.
Yeah. So he's trying to be sarcastic there, but you wouldn't be able to tell because his face is all morphed and mushed because his brain is fucking seeping out of his ears. But Dave, I don't know, man. The glaring hypocrisy that I just showed you guys on the show, and when I clip this, I may have to put those side by side, like just the Will Ospreay versus the Soul Io thing. I think I'm going to, because you couldn't be any more fraudulent and a shill than that. Like, what else can you say? It's fucking crazy how he defends the one.
I do not like what they're doing with Soul.
And he just goes, whatever. And then in this match, he brings up a 1-to-1 comparison, and it's like, oh, it's just bad booking, and this is shitty, and she's missing her move and stuff. It's just garbage. So, speaking of wrestlers that Dave loves so much, Kendal Gray. And again, this is what happens time and time again. Bryan Alvarez shits all over NXT, but then they pick a couple people that they want to convince, hey, before you get called up to the main roster, sign with Tony Khan. Dave did it to Nathan Frazier, and then Nathan Frazier made fun of Dave Meltzer and then got called up to SmackDown, and Dave never glazed him again. Dave did this with Javon. You'll get paid 10 times more. Javon goes up to the main roster full-time. He's now Javon's mid, and he's a mid guy. He's okay. Watch, I'm pointing this shit. Nobody points this shit out. I am the Dave fucking commander. Okay? And Kendal Gray's the same thing. He's just glazing her. As soon as she goes to the main roster, he's going to give up on her, go to the next person. They're trying to convince some of these youngsters by floating this out there, because Bry just trashes NXT's the worst show ever. But that Jay Malachi, that Javon Evans, it's the worst show ever. But Kendal Gray, boy, I mean, these people get paid 10 times as much. They're trying to doom and gloom NXT, and then they're trying to undermine the main roster and convince people to jump ship before they go to the main roster. They've been doing this for a long time. They're going to keep doing this, okay? Kendal Gray's their next victim. She needs to denounce Dave fucking Meltzer. It won't work because she's a WWE for lifer, and they see her that way, and that's why she's on that reality show that they definitely don't watch, okay? Before that clip, Cashman A for 2 sweet says, I don't know, therefore they don't know either. Bryan Alvarez. Yeah.
Brian.
You're right, dude. You're right. That's true. Thank you so much for the support, buddy. So this clip here, yeah, that needs to be like on a shirt. We should send Brian one. But Kendal Gray, as Brian would say, I don't know, therefore they don't know. That's hilarious. Kendal Gray continues to impress in NXT, so why are they beating her? Because she's impressive in the moves she does. Muhammad Ali's the GOAT. He has 11 losses. You're not the GOAT because you fucking win every fight. And yes, you are the GOAT because you win every fight, like a Fedor or something. He was GOAT. But he has losses, but he's still the fucking GOAT of his era. Anderson Silva, you want to go to fighting, even in pro wrestling. Hulk Hogan might not have a lot. He has some losses. It's Rocky Balboa. It's not about how many times you get hit. It's about, or you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up and keep swinging, right? Sylvester Stallone understands this better than you assholes. Kendal Gray, it's not that they need to beat her to dust, but they got to beat her. sometimes. She continues to impress. Yeah, she's fucking amazing. Gotta beat her, though. Oh, she just can't lose, though. Just fucking have her beat everybody. It's not like they're looking at her as someone who could be the face of the women's division for the next 15 fucking years. And you dummies always want to rush. So what? They should make her beat everyone, then rush her to the main roster so you guys can cry about her booking? Because that's what these guys are doing. They're trying to convince people to leave NXT. Then once they get to the main roster, they start burying what they're doing on the main roster. And they're crying about Brock and Oba, and they're crying about fucking Javon's mid now, and, you know, Nathan Frazier ain't shit. I fucking see you guys, man. I have you just broken down psychologically. I see your dirty rat schemes over there at the Observer.
Kendal Gray and Kalani Jordan in the main event.
Goddamn, this match was great.
This Kendal Gray. Oh my God.
I tell you, man, I'm going to get so much heat, but she's going to be the best woman wrestler ever from the United States.
You're not going to get so much heat, but saying she's going to be the best women's wrestler ever from the United States. Of all time, he's predicting in the future she will be the best ever from the United States. Now, I mean, that could happen. I'm not even saying it couldn't, but Dave, shut the fuck up. It's the same way when Dave Barry brings up Brody Lee Jr. How is anyone supposed to take you serious when you sat there and said Brody Lee Jr. is better than fucking day one? He's better than the entire NXT locker room. And then you get mad. That's fucking bullshit when people get mad that I say that. And then you come on the air and say that a chick from NXT is going to be the greatest women's wrestler of all fucking time in the history of fucking wrestling, of the United States of A, the US of A, of America. But meanwhile, you just said a fucking 14-year-old's better than the entire locker room.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
How is anyone supposed to take you fucking serious when you say shit like this? So she's as good as that 14-year-old kid that you saw wrestle Joey Janela? Is that how we were supposed to interpret this, Dave?
Stupid idiot!
You're so bad for the wrestling business. Hang it up, Unk. Pass the reins to Bryan.
She is so freaking, like, she's like, we were talking the other day about how, like, certain guys, you know, like Will Ospreay, make the most basic things look fantastic.
No, he doesn't. Will Ospreay doesn't do that. Will Ospreay does fantastic flips, and he flies through the air fantastic. When he's selling and he's doing regular wrestling, he does not look fantastic. Kendal Gray does everything really incredibly well. And that's why it goes to show you, Dave, that it's more than just the flips that matter. Kendal Gray's the living embodiment of that. She's also on a reality show that you're too triggered to fucking watch. And she ain't going to fucking AEW, buddy. And I know that that's what he's lobbying for, and he's trying to convince Tone as well.
Oh, yeah.
She, like, just a fucking takedown. She just does a takedown, and she looks like a superstar. She does, like, you know, I mean, she does the flying, too. I mean, her.
And also to glaze Kendal Gray this much and not glaze Tatum Paxley even nearly this much, you're a fucking dumb fuck.
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
And my insults are getting shallow, but it's like, how many more do I have to hurl? Like, Tatum Paxley takes a fucking enziguri and, like, does it on and off the apron, and it's like not dangerous, but it fucking looks cool as shit. You know, like, she does moves you see all the time, and she does her own little flair on them to, like, and again, a lot of this shit's subjective too. Like, maybe you're a powerhouse fan and you like guys who just fucking hurl people through the air more than any flippy shit. But, like, to Kendal Gray's amazing, don't get me wrong, but to, like, not even closely glaze Tatum Paxley this much too, you're a fraudulent phony. You're trying to convince her to go, and you got, let's face it, Dave's got a boner for her or something. Some underlying, like, you know, he thinks she's hot or something too. There's something like that. Because, like, yes, Kendal Gray's tremendous, but just the way he's hyping her up, it's like, you know, Does she have the best female character even in wrestling right now? No. So again, doing moves, yeah, she's tremendous. Is she a good character? Do I like Kendal? Absolutely. But like, is her character connecting with the mainstream audience on Netflix like a fucking Rhea Ripley's has and shit? That remains to be seen, Dave. That takes a lot of work. That's a whole other aspect of the game I just don't think Dave appreciates, you know?
Timing.
Dean Malenko had fucking great timing too. He's crispy, buttery, smooth. You know, he fucking came out and people would rather watch paint dry. So in WWE at least, right? In WCW, okay, in the cruiserweight division, you got away with, here's like our flippy cruiserweight section of the show, which I maintain modern wrestling should look at doing again. What's old is new. And I think that would really elevate a lot of these guys who are just kind of floundering like an Axiom or a Nathan Frazier.
Crispness. Like, she works like someone who, I mean, from a Christmas standpoint. Like
are you talking like Santa Claus or crispness like Rice Krispies or whatever the fuck? You old fucking, oh my God.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Are you saying Christmas like it's a gift, or are you saying like crispness like fucking a crunchy bar, Dave? What are we talking about here? You fucking cooked brain coot. Oh my goodness. He's melting down. He's looping.
Benoit or something. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a crisp Benoit. She's crispy as crisp Benoit. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. She's crispy like Chris Benoit there, buddy. Did my guy for real go, she's crispy? Her crispness is like Chris Benoit. She's Crispin Glover, bud. Oh God, Dave is too good, man. I love this show so much.
You know what I mean? Like, everything looks like ridiculously good. And she's only been said like what, about 103 matches or something like that.
It is not a lot.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. She was great here. She lost. Ridiculously good. She's like freaking Chris Benoit from a Christmas standpoint. She's like freaking Chris Benoit or something. You know what I mean? Like, everything.
That's what I one more time. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Who, I mean, from a Christmas standpoint, she's like freaking Chris Benoit or something. You know what I mean? Like, everything looks like
that's my favorite quote maybe of all time. Dude, holy shit, is that funny? Oh my God, dude. She's definitely not Chris Benoit crispness. Okay? Dave?
Good. And she's only
that's like rarefied air. That I don't think she's quite there. Again, maybe I'm wrong. That is one of the funniest things Dave's ever said.
She had like what, about 103 matches or something like that.
It is not a lot.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. She was great here. She lost. I was just like laughing when she lost.
Why? So Chris Benoit wasn't allowed to lose, Dave? This is what I mean. The whole fucking, I laughed when she lost because she can do the moves way better than the other person. Gives a fuck, man. So fucking Rowdy Piper did the moves better than Hulk Hogan, and fucking Hulk, was the guy, man. Like, you're just so ass backwards. You're so, watch MMA, you fucktard. Watch MMA. Watch MMA. Watch UFC, watch MMA. Watch MVP MMA. Watch fucking MMA if you want to see real crispy fighting, Dave. The fuck are you talking about? Some people got to fake lose the fake fighting. It doesn't matter that you can fake fight better than the other fake fighters. You fucking moron.
I was watching this and it was the same thing. It was just like, I know they love Kalani and she's like a big NXT star and I'm sure she'll make the main roster.
She was really good in this match too, though.
But it's not her time right now. It's Kendal's time. They're doing the same thing they do with
Kendall's time to what? So Kalani's going to get called up and then Kendall's going to still be down there because she came after. And there's like a seniority and a order of this stuff for people who are over. Okay?
Vaughn, which is like...
So like Ricky Saints comes in after a bunch of people, yes, but he's pushed more and is more over than most of these guys right off rip. So he's got to figure it out way more. So he's going to get pushed. Kalani, she's got to go up to the main roster before Kendal. You want Kendal to skip Kalani and then bury all the time and effort and energy and money they put into Kalani? Right now, hey, stupids. Hey, dumb fucks. Right now, Kendal Gray's on a TV show on A&E, a reality show where she's working her way through NXT to get to the main roster. So she can't be not in NXT while this is happening. Like, how do these guys not? You have to read and learn and study and learn everything. I don't even watch that show, and I know that's what's going on that show, Dave.
We'll keep beating Kendal for another year, and then maybe next, Saudi Arabia will pull the trigger. They're gonna find her. Like Nick Khan's gonna watch some show one day and go, "What in the hell is this woman doing here? Get her up tomorrow." And then Sean will have to go, "One more year, please," and it'll be too late.
No, she's on a TV show, and she's a long-term investment, and you guys are too late. Speaking of being too late, man. Some guys are too late. Some guys are too sweet. And Kevin Nash of the NWO had a lot to say regarding TKO. And here's Dave Meltzer. He just loved this. He lapped this up like a dog wagging his tail, chasing the fucking mailman, tongue waving, chasing that tennis ball. He hates TKO too, but and meanwhile, Dave is sitting here. Oh, yeah, Kevin Nash, he's calling out the fucking, they need to unionize. But he would never push for Tone to unionize, only WWE. So here's Dave talking about Kevin Nash here, hating on TKO.
All right, Kevin Nash had a lot to say on his podcast this week.
Yeah, I guess there were two key things. If you know him a little or have followed him a little, he's been pretty upset about the changes in WWE.
If you know him a little or have been following. So again, Dave always plays like, well, if you know him, you know he's upset. Oh, you mean like the shit he says publicly on his pod? And then you retcon reality? Like every lolcow does this. They retcon reality. Look at the quartering. Look at Brendan Schaub. Look at Greg Opie Hughes. Look at Stuttering John. Look at all of the fucking lolcows out there. Dave, that's why you're one of them. You're in that group. You retcon the past and go, oh, well, if you know him, he's been upset. He's upset with the shit. Dave, you don't call him on the fucking phone, okay? It's shit he said publicly with Sean Oliver, publicly on the Click This podcast. He always adds this extra like, well, I'm being told, or I knew this before. You didn't.
I think he thinks that he made some comments where he thinks that ever since TKO took over, his royalty checks had gotten much lower. So he, kind of thinks that they're bad. Anyway, he was pretty...
They've gotten much lower, so he kind of thinks that they're bad. Both Brian and Dave are the worst at like re-establishing or reiterating what other people say. Dave just fucks up what other people say. Like, you don't have to explain things verbatim or what step by step what happened, but you have to at least be on par a little bit.
Pretty vocal about them interfering with his buddies' booking ideas.
With his buddies, how he undermines. So when the Young Bucks talk about Tone and shit, oh, it's Tony Khan and is he and the Billionaire? It's never, oh, his buddies. They're just his little buddies. But with fucking Nash, he has to justify his buddies. Not just Triple H, because they're friends, like just the undermining, condescending. Meanwhile, you're buddies with Tone, you cocksuck, motherfuck.
Interfering with his buddies' booking ideas, which, they really don't do a lot. Tony Khan. But as I was told, they don't do it much, but they seem to always do it at the most inopportune times. So that's, like
that
at
certainly
WrestleMania.
happened this year.
It happened this year at WrestleMania. It sure did.
They do it at the most inopportune times. The fuck are you talking about, buddy? WrestleMania is WrestleMania. Whether people had a good experience or a bad experience, it was WrestleMania. So it's not like an inopportune fucking time to say this shit. Ugh. Just trying to make it worse.
We haven't seen anyone forced on him. We haven't seen.
That's why you're aging like that, Dave. That's why you're aging like that, dude.
Anything with Stephen A. Smith yet?
You have hate in your heart.
Although, boy, that name has been talked about, and I know it's serious talk. And put it this way, a lot of the people who are not happy about Pat McAfee, in fact, are favorable to Stephen A. So, I mean, as far as...
Because these guys, too, they're tarded. They think that Stephen A is going to come in. They're like, in a creative way that blah, 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 blah. And the sheets were just doom and glooming. Again, there's always an inkling of truth, and then they extrapolate a bunch of bullshit. Then they retcon what they wrote before and pretend that they're not full of shit hacks. So Stephen A. Smith will probably just come on as like a desk guy and to do stuff like, the way Tessitore does like the video packages. You'll talk over them or commentary or whatever. Stephen A. would do something like that. The same role they tried him in MMA, and he failed spectacularly. And then obviously creative has to be privy to that knowledge, but it's not like he's going to be in there doing moonsaults like McAfee was doing, wrestling people and shit.
Internally, it goes.
And it's because you guys are fucking hacks. And you think Patrick Mahomes' name was Patrick Mahomes. Some fucking Mark trying to defend Dave came in my comments and was like, it's Mahomes, not Mahomes or Mahomes or whatever. I'm like, yeah, tell that to fucking Dave Meltzer.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
Like, we're making fun of the guy over here. So, speaking of Felton, Dave, Mike Gilbert tweeted this out. And who's Mike Gilbert again? Retired Air Force. I don't even know. Husband and dad, the Mike and JD show. So shout them out. I'm not even sure what that is. Hold on. I'm learning some wrestling fans were catfished by a one-legged lesbian woman who ended up being a male Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame voter on the same day we got more UFO files. So he's saying here, I'm learning some fans were catfished by a one-legged lesbian woman who ended up being a male Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame voter. And then, of course, they were dropping like UFO files, like the government and shit, which no one gives a shit about because it's just dots in the air and aliens are fake as fuck. It's to cover the other shit going on in the world. But, yeah, so that's crazy. So I guess some Observer fans were being catfished by a one-legged lesbian woman, but it turns out it was a dude catfishing them, and he's posted about being a Hall of Fame voter. And that's just something that was floating around. And I'm not surprised, motherfuckers, as one Nate Diaz would say, Nathan Diaz, who's fighting tonight. And Jeff Lane, 22, sweet, posted this about... he was with Vince Russo, bro. Jeff and Vince Russo, let me tell you, friends of PWT. In fact, they invented Phil Marks. Bro, this Mark, bro, is trying to tell me about wrestling, bro. Of course, I'm in the dark side, so I can make up lies about mine and Dixie Carter's relationship, bro. I can't wait. Dixie Carter declined Dark Side on TNA. You know Vince is going to be all up in the three-parter, you know? But either way, shout out Vince Russo, shout out Jeff Lane and the brand. Here's Garrett and Dave. Well, Dave just says some dumb shit, and Garrett just sits there and pretends like he isn't just collecting a check. And he's the side piece, you know. Garrett gets happy Dave, and he makes Dave feel good about himself and lets him full-blown spurg out. So here's Dave just having a little melty.
The only reason I know about this is because of I know about it, or, you know, and not, you know, like.
Did he just say the only reason I know about this is because I know about it? Did he just say that?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
The only reason I know about this is because of I know about it. The only
I need that for the fucking soundboard. Oh my God. One more time. And I love that Jeff Lane and Vince Russo, they pull these little clips, these little snippets of like Tone or Dave Meltzer being embarrassing and shit and just saying dumb stuff. I love it so much. Shout them out one more time. This is going on the soundboard too.
The only reason I know about this is because of I know about it, or not,
did he just say?
And then imagine you're Garrett. You got to just sit there and boss, and you can't check this asshole. Oh my god!
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it. Did he just say that?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And Vince is speechless. He's just like, okay. All right.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
Oh my God, Dave, you are such a dumbass. You say some of the stupidest things anybody's ever heard in their fucking lives, especially as it pertains to pro wrestling specifically. And that's why you are always felted. You are always dented. And I will always play flutes. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
I'm back. Has been a member for 1 month and says, I saw this post earlier saying people do not like Will Cruz because he is a bigger guy and fans hate fat people. Well, that's crazy. He's just kind of baby-faced, and I just think some people don't see it, and he's just a big guy coming out there doing flips, and some people don't buy into that. They see dudes like that, and they're like, you look like a lesbian or whatever. So it is what it is. Cena's a huge fan of the kid, and a lot of people see something in him, and so I don't know. I'm trusting WWE and myself. I see it in him and John Cena more than I trust just people online, but everybody's entitled to their opinions. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your membership. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go watch the rest. There's no PWT live tonight. We did things kind of out of whack. I did like a live run-in last night to finish the stuff I wanted to do Wednesday. There's no real pressing news anyways. You look at what's trending on Twitter and it's like, what was trending? It was some bullshit. It was like, I can't even remember. AEW shop trolls MJF with balder than you shirt before hair versus title. I'm like, who gives a fuck about that? So I've been Phil S. Marks. You guys have been the PWT Universe. Round of applause. This has been Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week. And I will see you guys for Member Monday. Become a member for only 99 cents. Be good to yourselves and each other. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
As they did there, and they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.